these mysteries. Stay a while and share your thoughts. Help us break down this mystery. Grab a seat, we guarantee you're in wonderful company. Unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E. Unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E. Mrs. E. Mrs. E.
Welcome in, everyone. I am Mystery. Welcome to the Mr. E Crimecast. I am joined, of course, by Mrs. E and our guest, Auntie. Thank you so much for everybody being here. Auntie, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
Great. Well, I appreciate everybody coming back to join us. I already have 257 people joining us. It's been a while. We've been gone for I don't know, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, something like that at this point. And so we appreciate everybody hanging in there with us and joining us tonight. Of course, we appreciate all of our mods, K-Mac, Real Me Too, Dreaming of Blue Skies and Sandy Beaches. I saw you're all here, and appreciate your patience with us. Also,
Lady
with
Tit
the
for Tat too.
Oh, is Lady Tit for Tat here too? Great. Good to see you in here also. And of course, Lady Tit for Tat did our intro and outro music, which we all appreciate. I look forward to hearing that intro in particular every time it comes on.
Can you guys hear us okay? We've been having some audio problems. We had some computers that got switched around, so I want to make sure everybody can hear us.
We did reconfigure everything, so we've got everything kind of set up differently, new monitor and all of that. So that's part of the delay. Is it all kind of okay? Are we in the ballpark of normal? Let's see
Looks like it.
okay. Everybody's saying it's okay, and we are glad to be back. And
We've missed you guys too. I keep seeing we missed you. We missed you guys too a lot.
Absolutely. So our plan tonight, of course, we're going to be talking about the Sebastian Rogers case. We are so far behind. I don't know how we'll ever get caught up on everything that's happened on the last 6 months. There's tons of stuff that we've seen, we've taken notes on, we've got thoughts about, that we want to just kind of put our perspective on and kind of see how everything fits in. You're out of this case for almost 2 months, and it's going to take us a little while to get caught up on it, but we're going to get a start tonight. I don't think we're going to be able to get caught up on everything that's happened in one stream. So it may take us 2 or 3, I think, to get to everything I'd like to discuss. Of course, but of course, tonight's theme is going to overall be deception. That's been happening over the last few weeks. And I think we've all seen it. It's been happening for a long time, but it's really gotten to be prominent over the last few months. And so that's kind of what we plan on getting into, as well as some other updates and things that have been happening. But first I want to just start with what's been going on with us. I'm sure most of you are aware. We put it on our community page. I've been seeing it everywhere. Facebook groups, Twitter, other YouTubers and their accounts. And but if you are unaware or just kind of would like an update, we when you have your things happen in your private life and you're doing social media and something like this, you're really not sure where to draw the line on keeping things kind of private and when to share them. I'm going to talk about some of this tonight for the next 10 minutes or so, just to kind of let you all know what's been going on and where things are and how much we appreciate what everyone's done for us. But I'm not going to go into overly specific detail just for his privacy. and I'm kind of keep it broad where I can. But and of course, we just in general don't use our kids' names and stuff like that, just to try to give them that little buffer of privacy, out there. But so if you're not aware, what essentially happened, I was picking up Middle E from school the week before Christmas, and he had some symptoms, and it was alarming enough to go straight to the ER. Initially, it looked like it was not going to be anything serious at all, or at least nothing, too troublesome. And out of caution, they went ahead and did some CT scans. That came back looking more serious. We go to Nashville. We spend the night, do more tests. By the next day, we realized that we have a very serious situation, and so we had a very complicated and serious surgery scheduled for that Friday, and we were staying in the hospital that week. So we, a couple of days in the hospital, we're there, and it was a terrifying situation. Auntie dropped everything she was doing, brought my mother-in-law, drove several hours away to come
Overnight, I might add.
overnight, to get up here and help so that we could be in the hospital as much as possible. And don't know how we would have handled that situation without her. So thank you, Auntie. So it was incredible. And a week before Christmas, and just everything kind of happening, she was a tremendous help to us with that. We knew, of course, that we were not going to be coming back for the Crimecast for a while. And we knew people would worry about us. By that time, we were already kind of like 2 weeks since our latest one. And so we thought, we knew people would be worried, concerned, because we don't usually go much longer than about a week or so. And so we decided to put up a post, and kind of really for two reasons, mostly just to people wouldn't worry. We also just wanted the prayers, and we believe in prayer and group prayer, and
We had him on as many prayer lists as we could possibly get. So that was, we had, tons of prayer lists and tons of prayers, especially from our viewers too. It was great. And we could feel it. We could definitely feel the prayers. We knew that you all were there for us, and for Mr. and Mrs. E and Middle E especially.
On a funny note,
we'll take those.
Let's pause that for a second.
Sure.
As soon as Granny and Aunt E got here, they pretty much took care of everything so we could be at the hospital, like he said. But what they did take care of is all of our Christmas. They finished getting all of the presents we needed. They got them all wrapped. They made sure the kids were at school and fed. And it was probably the least stressful Christmas I've ever had in my entire life.
It was in that way. I always do my Christmas shopping like right before Christmas,
the day before.
Yeah. So I've learned my lesson on this because I was in the hospital all week. So I basically, when I was coming home for showers and stuff, and I don't know if you had fun with this part of it or not, but just giving Auntie cash and just saying, make Christmas happen.
Fun.
Yeah.
Here's an envelope.
I said, here's an envelope.
The only thing I feel bad about was I didn't get the lottery tickets.
We did forget the lottery tickets, but that's all right. So I'm not sure if that was my fault or not. I was such a mess. I think
it was just crazy. It was a crazy time.
I'm okay. I don't need lottery tickets. Yeah, I'm good.
So that part of Christmas morning, like what I was giving people was as much a surprise to me as it was to the people getting the gifts. I'm like, hey, I did great,
What my mom was, or our mom was, just rapping away. She would just sit at the table and rap all day long.
Yeah. And I'm
rap. I'm
an absolutely horrible gift wrapper. I mean, my stuff just looks like junk. And so that was good too.
Yeah,
she's a very good gift wrapper.
And they brought all their presents with them that normally we would do after Christmas. So our Christmas was big this year.
It went from like 4 things under the tree to like 400.
Yeah, Middle E probably got a little extra this year
Yeah, he did.
than maybe some years. And so
It was a banner year for him.
it was a banner year for him. So we so we had the surgery scheduled for Friday. It was a lot of things could have gone a lot of different ways. We wanted as many prayers as possible. I think that everyone that's ever watched our Crimecast, subscriber, mod, YouTuber, literally anybody we've come in contact with, I think has either prayed for us, reached out to us, texted, called, messaged, posted. Unbelievable. I kind of unplugged from YouTube for a couple of weeks there, especially that week. But later on, when I kind of went back and listened to a couple of podcasts, I was hearing lots of people, mentioning us and asking their audiences to pray. And I've heard since then that all kinds of people everywhere have done that. So thank you to all of you for that.
And then I just saw Justin. Justin sent us $20. Thank you, Justin. That's very sweet. But Justin says prayer works. We have faith. It's a mountain. God will move it. Praying for healing. I want to tell you how sweet this person is. Justin is the sweetest man. He texted me as soon as he saw our post and said, I will drop everything and I will head there and I will help with you. I'll sit with the kids. I'll sit with your son. I'll do whatever you need. He wasn't the only one that did, reach out and say they would help, but that was very touching, and just goes to show you how much, or how wonderful he is as a person.
It was everybody. I mean, everybody has been, that's the, it's one of those things when you go through stuff like that, you realize how many just, great and decent people there are.
Yes.
The negative gets the attention, but the true crime community, I can tell you, thousands of you are wonderful, good people.
And we felt it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And also here's another one. I'm not even seeing these coming in, guys. I'm sorry. Tennessee nurse. I mean, she's reached out to us multiple times, and it means a lot to it means a whole lot to both of us. Sorry, you need to talk.
I know we're gonna have to take turns a little.
Yeah.
Auntie, just jump in there if we have to pause, because I don't want to do
And
that like
thank
that.
you so much for your super chat. Well, actually, I could make it. I could break this up a little bit. We've gotten so much stuff that's come in. Let me just go through it real quick.
Yes. And thank you, Tennessee nurse.
Yes, thank you so much.
Very sweet.
I'm going to try to make the moment a little more happy. So
Yes.
first, I want to recognize everybody, and then I'll show you what I mean. Dreaming of Blue Skies and Sandy Beaches. She's another one that's just been amazing.
Yes.
Member for 6 months. Great to see the E family continued prayers.
Yes, we do appreciate you. You've always been so supportive of us from the beginning.
She's beyond supportive.
Yes, amazing.
And then Ginger for Up. Thank you for being a member for 4 months. Welcome back, E family. You've been missed. And we have a new member. I don't know how to say that. Kai.
I
think
I don't know.
Well, thank you for becoming a member. We appreciate it. And then here comes Full Moon with 5 gifted memberships. If you received a gifted membership from Full Moon, please tell Full Moon thank you. Thank you so much, Full Moon. That means a lot to us. And then a super chat that says, good to see you back.
Thank you,
Full Moon. And then, sorry, I'm sniffling. Can you help?
Yes. So Jenna in Georgia is a member for 2 months, saying prayed for you and your precious son daily.
Thank you.
I appreciate that very much. Rock and Rhonda, love the crime crew, and thank you for being a member for 6 months, Rhonda. Good to see you again too. We really have missed all of you. We've thought about in all of you, and so appreciative. Clutch and Pearls is a member for 4 months. I love you all and can't tell you how much I'm praying.
We feel it.
We feel it.
Thank you. And then I went through that, and then we got okay.
Arlene Nolte says much love to the family and sending lots of healing to Middle E.
Thank you so much.
And he is doing well today. So he had. Do we have some more to catch up before
I've got. They keep coming in.
Okay.
I've got.
So guys, Guidance. Thank you, guidance. Prayer is powerful, and this shows how much you mean to us. Prayer is still coming in. Stay strong, Mama and Papa Bear.
Thank you, guidance. And then Mr. Mathis, I'll tell you, he's another one that was wonderful to us.
Yes. Yes. Reached out and called and
checked on us constantly to
Yes.
make sure we're okay.
very good man and a friend. So we appreciate that, Tony. Please take middle E to do something fun. The Mathis family loves you guys.
We love you back. He was a very logical voice of reason when our mind was going crazy. So we appreciate that. There's more. Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, thank you. But you know what I mean.
Spooky wife. Prayers and love. Thank you so much, Spooky wife.
And then I got time today.
Remember, for 2 months, YouTube hasn't been the same. Still praying for you. Thank you very much.
And then the real me too says always in my prayers. So for our super chats and everything, I want to show you guys. I did make something fun to try to keep my mind busy.
Yes. Auntie's or Mrs. E's been busy.
So there's going to be some music. So guys, get ready. Okay. If you've got earbuds in, you might want to pull them out. I don't know. So I made this for fun. You ready?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you for the super chat. 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 Thank you for the super chat.
Why I think that's so funny.
Well, and
Yes,
every time that you showed it to me, I had it in my head the entire day, and I just got it out of my head. And mom kept saying, "Granny said, what are you singing?" And I was saying, "Thank you for your super chat," and I was doing it all the time. So now I'll have it in my head again.
I know that. Well, that's how you know it's the right one when it gets stuck in your head, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that happened to me too, actually.
We have another one.
Oh, I have more. No, I made more, you guys.
No, I was just saying we have
ridiculous.
another super chat.
Oh, really? Nick.
Well, thank you, Nick. I'm not seeing it. Did you pull it up?
Right here. Oh, sorry. I'm reading it on here.
Nick the Hat says, sending my thoughts and prayers. Stay strong. You've got thousands of us praying for you and your family. It absolutely is thousands. I know it is. And thank you, Nick, for that. I mean, I'm not kidding. I think anybody that's ever come across our channel at some point was praying and sending messages. It's an unbelievable amount of support.
And
so
this is another one that's been checking on us and has been very supportive.
Yes.
Also, Brittany J has checked on us multiple times and offered to, talk and with me and cry with me or whatever I want. So
taking time from your shows to mention us and think of us and ask your audiences to pray. We appreciate it. We believe in group prayer in particular. I think that when we unite, God listens more.
Yes.
And we of course we don't always get answers we want, and we all get challenges, but we can get his attention, and there's power in that. We've seen it happen. And so we had. I want to just kind of get through this.
Yeah, I'll have another funny video. I probably can.
We're not going to do this every.
We're not going to talk about it anymore after this.
I just want to kind of get through it, and then we're not going to make this every time we're on talking about it. We may occasionally ask for prayers with things coming up, but
we lost Aunt E. She fell off. Okay, there she is.
Sorry, guys.
That's okay.
My husband got me a new computer for Christmas. I love it, but I am not well versed in it yet. Everything's different.
Oh, so did you get a different? Were you on a Mac before?
Yeah, I'm on. It's a new Mac.
Okay.
She got hers around the time you got yours.
Okay. Well, mine's
around the same time, and
too.
his is almost done.
Yeah.
So
mine was just had too much stuff on it, and they saw me struggle every day with it, and so my daughter and husband got together during the Black Friday sales and got me a new one. So it's great.
Yeah, I'm almost there. It's taking me like a couple of minutes just to send an email right now. It's getting so slow.
I don't know what
I don't know.
the crime dogs are barking about.
Anybody could be walking by outside and it does it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we had the surgery scheduled for that Friday, and it's the most important part of his process was the surgery, how everything was going to go in the future. It was the most important step we were going to have, and it was a critical surgery, dangerous, all kinds of different things could happen. Middly, crazy courageous, unflappable, no fear. If he has fear, you don't see it. He it's incredible. So we had this, surgery ended up being about 6 hours, which ended up being an hour and a half longer than they had anticipated. It was a little more difficult than they thought. And, they put you in that little room, off the waiting room, and you're waiting for the doctor to come in when it's over, and you don't know what's happened.
Well, they call this every 45 minutes.
Yeah. They call you just to say he's stable, that kind of stuff, but you don't really know how things are going. Right. And so we get into, that little room, and you're waiting. We were there maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and doctor walks in, and I will always appreciate the surgeon for this, because a lot of things could have really gone wrong. And he walks in and he just goes like that, as soon as he walks in the door.
Well, you couldn't see it on the screen because you're
The thumbs up.
He
Couldn't see
did
the thumbs
too.
up?
No,
Well, he did.
too.
He did too. As soon as he walks in the door, he does both thumbs
I'm
up.
gonna push this down a little.
And I will always be so appreciative of that, because we knew right away that the mission was accomplished when he did that. And so the surgery went as well as it possibly could have gone. It just, if it hadn't gone perfectly, we would be in a much different position today. And it went as well as it could go. That's Friday before Christmas. And by Monday, incredibly to me,
he was in ICU for 2 days.
he was all right. He's in ICU, and
Auntie and Granny still out there getting presents and doing their thing.
yeah, they were monitoring him pretty closely, and
our
everything.
brother even came up
Yeah.
and sat with us the whole time.
Oh yeah, my dad was there the whole time. Her brother, which I'm very glad they were there. They were great to distract us.
Okay, we need to have one more person either watch or leave. I do not like that. Look.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? Oh,
Okay, good. 2 left. Okay.
Somebody boot somebody to
Yeah.
not be on the evil numbers.
We were on bad numbers.
Yeah. So anyway, by Monday we were home, the 23rd.
Which was shocking.
And
It was shocking.
and by that night,
Well, you guys. Oh wait, you didn't.
we left
No, you had to
Sunday.
left Sunday.
We
Yeah,
had
had
to
to
leave
leave
Sunday
Sunday.
because I had people coming to my house for Christmas and
you
needed
had like
to get
15
back.
people coming to your
Right.
house. Yeah.
and and we're they're home, and then we're all together. It's incredible. It was a few weeks before we got test results. The healing has gone well.
The healing.
The
is
side
really-
effects are there, but they're not believed to be permanent. It's believed that they will all fade over time. And we didn't get the news we wanted on the labs. It could have been worse. Could have been better. As far as the lab results went. So we do have a tough fight for us over the next couple of years, especially the next year. But his doctor has told us that the prognosis is good. So we have a good prognosis. The surgeon believes everything was done that needed to be done. He feels very good about it. Certain signs and indicators that maybe in the future it won't be good, he did not see, just visually. So at this time, we believe that we're going to be okay, and it's just going to be tough. It's going to be harder than we wanted, but we're going to be all right. We've got amazing doctors. We've got people have helped us with connections to some of the best, literally the best doctors all over the country and even outside of the country. Some of them. So we are overturning every stone, and we've been research warriors for the last few weeks,
Yes.
and so we're nothing's being left to chance. So if you are going to continue to pray for us, which we hope you do, continued health for him and wisdom for us would be great.
Don't look at me, you'll cry.
And so thank you for that. And so we will occasionally maybe ask for prayers as different milestones come up, but we're not going to try to talk about it any more unless we we'll get back focused on this. It's time for us to get back to normal. It was kind of hard to come back in a way. You kind of just were nervous about it. Felt rusty. We're like, oh, where are these? How are we even going to do this?
Yeah.
And everything.
Well, and also I think just wanting to stay in the bubble,
Yeah. Yeah. Just emotional. We could have come back a couple of weeks ago. We just needed a little more time ourselves to get right.
Well, we've been mentally spent, honestly.
Yeah.
And that's just the truth. And actually Middley has been encouraging us to come back. So
Yeah.
which is funny. Yeah.
I mean, he's like Clint Eastwood, this kid. He's so
strong.
tough and strong. And, we're sitting in the hospital. He's getting that kind of news and stuff. And he's just like, all right. Well, it's the logical thing to do. We'll just do this. That's his kind of attitude.
Because he's old enough to have input on all this stuff. So
yeah.
It's not like what we've dealt with before with our younger child. So where she didn't, we had to make all the decisions for her because when she got sick, she was 8. So at any rate, I wanted to point out something. We have a new member.
And a super chat from the new member.
I know, it made me
They just
tear
want
up.
the song again, the super chat.
They just want the song.
Thank you, Seth. Good to see you.
Thank you, Seth. That
Seth
means a lot.
Rogers just became a member. We appreciate it. I hope you're doing well.
And
Yiva Bjornson.
thank you
sending
so
prayers.
much.
Thank you so much.
That was a super sticker, and I actually have a song for that too.
Are you gonna?
But I have to show you this first.
Okay.
Look at that. You did not have to do that, Seth.
Seth, you don't have to do that.
That was so kind of you.
Many prayers, Mystery Family. We do appreciate it.
And then we have another new member. Or wait, I'm sorry. Terry F's been a member for 4 months and says prayers for everyone.
Thank you, Terry. And
and
Jen and Georgia says we will continue. Great to have you back in strength, Middle E.
Yeah.
He's got all the strength, but that's not an issue for this kid. He's just he's tough as nails.
Which I don't even know how it happened, honestly.
Yeah, he puts you two to shame.
I
He
know.
does.
He really does.
Really does.
He's the best of both of us. That's what I always say.
That is.
Oh
true.
yeah, Lady Tit for Tat always calls him Resilient E.
Resilient E. That's right.
Yeah.
And Lady Tit for Tat's been wonderful to
Yes,
us too.
she's
We
been
do
wonderful.
appreciate that.
Everybody came at all of them. They've
Everybody
all,
has. Literally everybody has.
Merle, me too. All of them. They've all been checking on us and making sure we're okay.
I've read every message, every comment you all left on those community posts, and every single one. I didn't respond to it all, but the support's incredible.
And back on track with Kat. That's a pretty good name.
That's interesting.
I love
Back on
that.
track with Kat.
Welcome. Actually, I've got a song for you too. So maybe that'll lighten our mood a little bit. First of all, I got a quick one. Wait, do I? Wait, where is it? Okay, guys, you're going to laugh at this one. This is for all of our new members.
Welcome to the dog town. Your crime dog now. Members only. Welcome to the dog town. Your crime dog now. Members only. Welcome to the pound. Members only. Bow wow 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 wow. Doo doo doo. Doo doo.
Okay.
I texted you the vigil.
I
We'll
got
start
it.
with that.
Okay. Sorry. Isn't that funny?
Yeah,
And then let me. I've got one more. Oh, you haven't
I like the
seen
part
this
where
one.
it's members only. For some
I've
reason.
got one more.
Thank you for your super sticker. 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 Thank you for your
Okay, and wait till you see when we get to 1,000 likes. When we get to 1,000 likes, I got a whole new video for you guys.
Oh yeah. And of course we'll always do Machete.
Yeah.
So we'll always do that
Machete.
too. But she's got something else for that too.
Oh,
So anyway,
sorry, it cracks me up. It's the little things that make me happy.
yeah,
so.
Lady Tit for Tat says that gives us
What?
this one gives Clutch Them Pearl vibes, and I love it. Yeah, it kind of does, right? It kind of has a similar vibe.
We've got another new member.
Stephanie Williams, thank you for becoming a member. We appreciate
you.
that.
Ginger. Super sticker. I know. I had to do something to kind of make myself laugh. Aw, just Jana. The E's will never be anything but loved by your Crimecast family. Thank you so
thank
much.
you.
I thought I after a couple of weeks, you just kind of figure out of sight, out of mind a little bit, well, you're gone for 2 or 3 weeks. People just kind of move on and they do other things. But even this week, I was still seeing messages and things and people reaching out. So it's just incredible how you guys have all been. So we just thank you so much. I can't tell you how much we appreciated it. It really did help a lot. And it, and Bullhorn Betty says, and you're lucky, Miss Shetty Betty happens to be in the chat. I'd never thought of. Yes,
I like
is
that,
true.
Miss
Shetty
Shetty Betty. I like that.
That could
If you
be
ever
a
want to
video.
if you ever want to, it's like super mode Betty or something. She's upgraded to Miss Shetty Betty.
She's got bedhead Betty. She's got a lot of them.
Yeah.
So.
Bullhorn Betty, I think is a great brand, like a great name for. It's great.
It is.
There's a lot of. It's just a great brand.
And Ginger Girl, welcome back. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Ginger Girl. We do.
You know what?
That.
While I'm thinking about it, let me go ahead and give these away because I think I missed giving away the free. Oh wait, do they not do the freebies anymore, or do they? I don't know. I don't know why I thought they might not do them anymore.
I don't know.
Oh, whoops! Hold on.
You know what? I feel like I was watching somebody's live, and they were saying they don't do them anymore.
Oh, I'm gifting. Oh,
are they doing it?
5.
Okay.
And now I'm gifting 5 more.
Or maybe someone was just having trouble doing
oh yeah,
it.
I came up.
Okay, good.
All
yeah,
right. Just get these out of the way and give them to our friends that are here to support us. And don't feel like you have to thank me because I get them for free. Let's see. Sorry.
So let's do
We
that
did get
first when
another
you get a chance.
super chat or super sticker.
Oh, my stars. Stephanie, thank you so much. I can't. Aunt E, can you find it? It jumped from me.
I'll try. Hang on.
Oh my gosh.
You may
you
notice
guys
I'm not
are
having to wear my
amazing.
glasses because
Oh,
we've
wait.
got a new nice big screen here. I can actually read instead of my tiny.
We actually
computer.
missed some.
Oh, did
Yes, we got him a big screen so he wouldn't have to wear his glasses all the
Yeah.
time. Jennifer Gilly, member for 3 months. Prayers for you in Middle East. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jennifer, and thank you, Stephanie, for the super. That's a super sticker, I assume, right? Is that what that
No,
is?
that's a super chat.
Oh, a super chat.
Uh-oh. Do you think? Okay, one more time before we get busy. Come on. I love that song.
Well, did we miss anybody else too?
I think we got everybody. So
Okay.
Thank you for the super chat. 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 Thank you for the super chat.
okay. I'm gonna work on you talk for and say you haven't said hello to just everybody in the chat. You just kind of went into it.
And we did
You
have
said
thank you, Sugar and Spice. Do we have another new member? Thank you for
Okay.
being
Oh.
here.
Aunt E, can you take care of that while I get something ready? Thank you.
Sugar and Spice became a YouTube member, so thank you. I think that's the last one I see that we have not done.
Well, just say hi to everybody else too,
Well,
not
hello,
just members
everybody.
and super
I-
chat.
Yeah, well, we got.
Weird.
I'm rusty.
I
I'm
don't
rusty at
remember.
this. I
Yeah.
couldn't even remember how to open the show when we came back. I was like, what do I usually say? I don't even know what I say.
Hold on, I gotta find what you. Did you text me
There's
that?
lots of great people.
I texted.
Me personally.
It was
The
to
the
Crime
Crimeys.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. We have lots of
Yeah.
people. There's a lot of names that I don't even recognize that are new.
There are actually, there are quite a few new people.
So if you're new,
Uh,
thank you for joining us. And we promise to get back on the road here and get things going again. We're not sure of how often yet, but we are going to try to get back into a pattern.
We will be very busy during the week with doctor's appointments and stuff. So we are probably going to try to stick to Sunday nights for right now. So
yeah, I think we're going to do probably Sunday nights, weekends at least. Once a week is kind of what we're thinking, because the weekdays are going to be pretty busy for us for the next few months. So it's just unless there's like some kind of breaking news or something kind of different happening, that's probably best for us is Sundays.
Just talk to people for a second. I'm still trying to figure this out.
Yes, if you hadn't hit the like button, when we get to 1,000 likes, we do some fun stuff. And go ahead.
Yeah, there are actually quite a few names.
There's a lot of. I see hindsight. We've welcome back, but I see a lot of new names. So if you're new, thank you for joining us tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
I might almost have it.
Jen in Georgia, Clutch and Pearls. Thank you for reminding people to hit their like button.
And thank you guys for being here, Betty and Justin and on Busby and all you guys for being here to support us. Yeah. They knew how hard it was going to be.
Yes.
But it also becomes a thing where it's like the longer you wait, the harder it is going to be to come back. And so we just kind of knew we just needed to just do it and get back in there.
And I think people wanted to hear the story, kind of firsthand and know what was going on and know where their prayers were going and, how much they're appreciated. We just can't tell you how much we appreciate the prayers and continued prayers. We would appreciate all your prayers and just adding us to your prayer list every single day that you're doing prayers because we need it.
I don't know what's going on.
You having a little
I cannot
technical...
get it to come up.
Well, I could just go.
You know what? I can go on this. I can go to that page and do it. I don't know why I'm having trouble, but I am.
Somebody asked me how old my computer was. It was like a 2017. They'd ask about my Apple. I'd had it a good 7 years, going on 8 years. So it was, and it had a lot of stuff on it. So it kind of lived its life. But I tell you, once you go to Mac and see how much they can hold, and you don't get viruses, you just don't want to go back.
It's the virus part that makes me not want to ever go to another computer.
Me too.
Okay. I'm sorry. I can't, for some reason, I've forgotten how to do this. So here we go.
It's all right. We'll get the kinks worked out.
Okay.
As we figure out. So I didn't even realize tonight was going to, until a couple hours ago, that this was going to be the 11-month anniversary since Sebastian was last seen. But that is today. And just a few days ago, it was announced that they are going to hold a vigil for that year anniversary on that Saturday, March 1st at 2 p.m. It's covered up there.
Sorry, I'm trying really hard to do this the right way. Something's wrong. I'm going to try to do it this way.
Okay.
Hold on.
It's going to be on Saturday, March 1st at 2 p.m. at the Celebration of Life Church in Hendersonville. And they're asking everybody to join them.
Okay. I'm going to try to do it the right way. Hold on. You guys, I have literally forgot how to do this stuff.
That's okay. I mean, we could just read it.
I'm going to get it. You give me a second.
All right. Well, so that obviously we hope that vigil just becomes unnecessary and he is found before then, but if not, they will be having a candlelight prayer vigil in honor of Sebastian Rogers. And it reads, "Please join us as we ask for prayers and strength for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, his loved ones, and law enforcement in Sumner County. As we move toward the 1-year anniversary, we need all the strength, prayers, and unity we can get." Saturday, March 1st, 2025 at 2 p.m. And that is a Celebration of Life Church located at 768 Forest Retreat Road, Hendersonville, Tennessee, 37075. And I'm not familiar with that church. Do you know where that one is?
No, but that doesn't.
I'm sure we drive by it.
Drive by it.
Just by name, I don't recognize it. But thank you to them for hosting that. And if you were there, I'm sure Seth would love your support and to
And your
come out.
prayers.
Yeah, if we can, we will attend. We'll just have to wait and see as we get closer. But it's always good to kind of connect with everyone that has this sort of mutual goal to keep awareness for Sebastian's disappearance out there, and these vigils do really serve a purpose. We talk about it every time one of these vigils comes up. Obviously, you just want to do the prayer and the group prayer, and that strength in and of itself, but it also serves a purpose of being an excuse for the media to cover his case. It helps with awareness. People share it on social media. A few times they've been able to get local news crews out to do a story and that kind of thing. And with it being the 1 year anniversary, I'm sure that we'll be able to get some media attention for Sebastian.
Well, I
out.
think the one thing that I thought was interesting, it says, and the law enforcement in Sumner County.
Yeah, I don't remember it reading like that in the past. But true. We do need to pray for them to have success with their search and investigation. That they are able to overcome whatever hurdles may be in front of them. So,
Oh, Miss Holly says the church is not far from Costco, so you know where that is.
oh, okay.
So
It says close to Kohl's.
really?
Somebody said close to Kohl's. Busy Mama said close to Kohl's.
Yeah, I'm sure it's one of those churches I drive right by, and I just don't
even realize.
I just can't picture it in my mind. But yeah, so but that's great. So
And we
and that's
posted
not actually
this
far from his home.
Yeah, we posted this from on our community tab as well. But we wanted to share that with you. I'm going to pull that down.
Yeah.
And we had a few more things come in. SS Butterfly Kisses, member for 6 months. I've missed you all so much, and we've missed you too. And then also, Hey Jude says, love my family, and we love Hey Jude too. Hey Jude has been reaching out and supporting as well. We appreciate you. Robin Woods says, so good to see you all back. Prayers, y'all, and Middle E, Sebastian's army. Thank you so much, Robin. That was very sweet of you. And then also SS Butterfly Kisses sent us a super sticker, and I have to go see what it was. Hold on. She's raising her hand, says me. That's cute. That's so cute. I love the super stickers. They make me laugh. That song makes me laugh too, but I think it'll get on everybody's nerves if I keep playing the super sticker song.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
maybe we'll do it once more before we end tonight.
So yes, we have been gone a little bit. We got a lot to try to catch up on. Obviously, the vigil, we want to make sure we highlighted that tonight. And we'll be mentioning that every time we do a stream on Sebastian leading up to, just as a reminder, everybody. But it's Big E going to bed up there. We've been away a little bit, but I'll tell you, there have been tons of amazing creators doing work on the case. We've had I'd like to thank my good friend Deception Detective for stepping in there and coming back on the case. He's done some great work. He doesn't know
you're alive.
He has no idea who we are, but he got back involved. That was great to see. He's done now, I think, is it 3 or 4 videos on the latest appearance from Chris on Elevated Truth. He's got a massive audience, over 100,000 subscribers. His videos always get 30, 40, 50, 60,000 views, so that's that's great. And then Laura Lodge came back, got back involved in the case again. He's got over 600,000 subscribers, so an amazing platform to bring more awareness to Sebastian. So we're of course grateful to him for that. And then there's just the ongoing work that everybody does. Mob Crew's done some great stuff. All the folks.
Jennifer Coffendoffer.
Yeah, and appeared on Mob Crew, which was nice to see that collaboration there. And
Justin's been doing some great work. So Brittany and and
Everybody has really.
the lab, all of
Oh,
our
yeah.
friends.
Yeah, I mean, it's just tons of great work being done, and so I appreciate everyone. All the work you've done has helped us to actually get kind of caught back up on the stuff we missed, to go back and watch some of your various lives on the replay, to kind of see what's been going on. I think I might start with this.
I'm trying to get it. I can't find it.
Which one are you trying to
While
find?
you're doing that, I'll say thank you to Seth Rogers. He's gifted 5 memberships.
Oh my goodness. No, he didn't.
Seth, you don't
Yes,
have to
he
do that.
did.
Really.
You
You really don't.
Don't do that. Thank
He-
you, though. That's very
Gifted
sweet
5
of you.
memberships, and then we had another
Appreciate you,
gifted
Seth.
membership. Coco Honey gifted a
Aw.
membership
Thank you, Coco
as
Honey.
well.
And if you got a free membership from Seth or Coco Honey, please tell them thank you. That was very kind. They're not free, and we really appreciate them. We really do. Let's see,
So-
because our members dropped significantly when we went away. So I
Well,
mean, I don't blame them, but
Right. And we haven't been able to do anything. So hopefully we'll get back with that as well.
and Auntie doesn't know how to run StreamYard, and she wouldn't do a show by herself anyway. So
No, it's not the same by myself, you know?
oh, I did one where it was just me when, and it's hard. It's hard to do. You know,
well,
I have,
Middle E was helping you.
yeah, Middle E was helping, but it's tough to do that alone. It's definitely easier when you have got at least 1 or 2 other people to kind of bounce stuff off of. Yeah, it's definitely a different game. So I people that I mean, a lot of folks do kind of the solo thing, and it's hard. It's definitely much more difficult.
I like to
Mhm.
think you're just codependent on me.
It's a little bit of that. A little bit of that.
I keep
are you
saving
trying
it
to
and
pull
I
this up?
can't find it. I'm still looking. Just give me a second.
It's
I don't
okay.
know. Oh, here it is. Finally. That is what I was looking for, but it's kind of blurry.
It is blurry, but that's the only copy we have. But I'm going to read it anyway. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, hold on.
So
I'm having the most trouble tonight.
You're going to have to practice.
Yeah.
we should have had a rehearsal.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. I got it.
Yeah. So this isn't just this is just blurry. Nothing we can really do
And
about that.
this
But I'm
is,
going to read it.
Clutch Them Pearls broke this story. So
Yes, I didn't know that's how that happened. So
I
he
knew
had
I'd
someone
heard
from
it. I just didn't know where I'd
We
heard it.
couldn't figure out where we saw it at the time, but
Okay, so yeah, so credit to Clutch and Pearls for breaking this. So this was an email dated January 10th, 2025, and it's a really brief message, but kind of huge in a lot of ways. So this is from Detective Brandon Carter from Sumner County in Criminal Investigation Division, and he says, "We can't tell anybody not to say anything. The only thing I can say is this is an ongoing criminal investigation. It's the only case I work to present day." So it's just 3 sentences, but they were huge in so many ways. So first of all, just the second sentence is the biggest part in a way, because over the last 11 months, we are learning things as we go. It's been slow, but we are very gradually getting closer and closer to the truth of what happened to Sebastian and what's really going on. We've been saying for months that this has been a criminal investigation. There's been pushback to that. People trying to tell us, no, this is not a criminal investigation. You don't know that. So of course we know that. There were all kinds of reasons to believe it. The DA being on the site at day 3, the ability to be able to go search the dump in Kentucky. They had to have had a warrant to be able to go do that and to be able to get that warrant. And this is credit to Coffindaffer. You would have had to have been able to go through a series of people, your superior, then the DA and a judge, and they'd all have to say there was a reason to go make a search and issue the warrant. You would have had to have had some kind of evidence of a crime. So we knew that part too. It's even been said, Nick Barris has mentioned it a couple of times, At the 6-month anniversary, he came out of the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, walked across the street to the gathering of voices folks that were there, and told them this was an official criminal investigation. They referred to it as an investigation at one point. If you sent in a FOIA request for body cam footage, they sent you back a message saying, we can't give this information. This is a part of a criminal investigation, and on and on and on. But we still kind of had the situation where people were saying, no, this is not a crime. This is a runaway teen. All of this, that was always nonsense. This has always been a criminal investigation since at least day 2 or 3 of Sebastian going missing. We don't know what prompted it, what happened, but that was part of it. So now at least we have some people, they just kind of need authority to tell them what to think. Our audience is largely attracted to our channel because they know that this is a free thinking, critical thinking, logic-based approach to true crime. We don't really need authorities to tell us what to think. We don't need the police to come tell us it's a criminal investigation. We can look and see that it is, our audience mostly gets that. There are people that need authority to tell them, okay, now it's official. Okay. So at least we have this. This is no longer in question. It is absolutely a criminal investigation. So it's important for a few reasons in my mind. One is we're getting closer to the truth, mostly through deductive reasoning and logic. We're ruling things out that were possible and which leaves us with whatever the truth is, right? Like a long time ago, we were able to rule out Seth Rogers as a suspect. We did that even before he was able to release those timesheets. But because all logic told us that there was no way that he was going to get a 3-hour break from the jail, be able to come up to him. He didn't have the motive, the means, the opportunity. All of those things were impossible. So we had 99% could have almost ruled him out. Then he produced the timesheet, signed off by 2 different attorneys, one for Davidson County, one of his own. No possible way they're fabricating that type of evidence and risking their careers to do that. So he's got the rock solid alibi. And so deductive logic, we can now take Seth off the table as being involved in Sebastian's disappearance. And going into it, anybody looking at the case would have said your first 3 people that are reasonable are the 3 parents involved. And just by deduction, we're able to safely say, but Seth had nothing to do with the disappearance of Sebastian, right? There's other crazy kind of conspiracy theories out there, but they're not logical, feasible, or possible when you really break them down. But then the other thing we've been able to narrow down is that he's not a runaway. We've been able to do that months ago. This is not a runaway situation. It's a crime, and I've even heard a few times people refer to running away from home is actually a crime of a sort. Well, you don't have first of all, you don't have an Amber Alert for a runaway teen. Most times this year, there's only been one active Amber Alert in Tennessee, and that's been Sebastian. There's lots of missing kids, lots of runaways. Sebastian's the only one that's been under an active current Amber Alert through 2024. There may have been some that have come and gone as they've been found, but Sebastian is consistently, when you go check the website, been the single Amber Alert in the state, which means that there is some suspicion that he's in danger and been abducted, some immediate danger to him. So we know for that reason also that it's a crime and not a runaway type of crime, not some kind of juvenile misdemeanor kind of issue where you would have the third sentence here that says it's the only case I work to present day. A runaway teen doesn't get a detective assigned to him singularly for 11 months, right? I mean, all logic would tell us that that's not possible. So what does that leave us with, really? It leaves us with some kind of serious crime warranting a detective's full attention 11 months into it. The only two possibilities I see is that he's either no longer with us or someone has him somewhere and abducted him. That's where we are.
Mhm.
And we do that through deduction. I don't know what the answer is, but we're looking now at a crime, not a runaway, not falling into a crevice, not wandering into the woods. We're looking at a serious enough crime to warrant a full-time detective 11 months into it, right? So it's something big, and also to have a detective working on it at this extent, they must have some belief they're making progress, because you would eventually reach a point where you're out of leads, you're out of work to do, you're twiddling your thumbs if it's cold, and then you just put that file on the shelf and you go work on something else. Maybe you revisit it every couple of months, but you don't assign a full-time detective to this case unless you're making some kind of progress. So they're building a case. We don't know for certain who or what that case is or what charges may happen, but something is happening if you believe the language of this letter. Any thoughts on that before
No,
I go on?
Justin just had put up something that kind of goes along with what you're saying.
So Clutch and Pearls, Justin says this is all the detective has done every day for the past 11 months.
Exactly.
So there's the reason, there's something there. People will tell you also there's no evidence. Of course there's evidence. There's tons of evidence. Is it enough to get a conviction? We don't know. We've seen some of the evidence. They're asking YouTubers to save video. I'd be willing to bet just about anything. All of this video footage that we've seen, whether it's from Texas Roadhouse or flashlights and all of that you'll see in a courtroom one day, should indictments ever happen. So all of that is evidence. What they are likely building is some kind of circumstantial case. And those are harder. They're trickier. But that's the situation they're in, because we don't know where Sebastian is. I don't know if Sumner County has an idea about that or not. They rightfully are keeping things kind of close to the vest, right? But anyway, that's an incredible letter with a ton of information. Should give all of us a lot of clarity on where things are going. I know I am in the minority opinion, which for some reason I kind of enjoy when that happens, actually. But I know I have the minority view that I don't believe that Sumner County, it's a corruption problem. I know that there are those theories out there that various families have so much money that they've bought off every sheriff in town and they run the city and all that kind of stuff. And I don't believe that. I don't believe that's ever been the case. They may have a friend or two in the department. I think that's actually true. And that can sometimes be enough to kind of mess up an investigation if you've got a friend or two kind of gumming up the works, so to speak.
Sure.
But some kind of top-down corrupt system, I don't think that's the case, because they could have, if that were true, they could have closed this investigation months ago. Chris McDonough was the first person I saw that even suggested that, and he was right, because they could have come out 2 weeks, month, whatever, in an investigation and said, everything's pointing toward this being a runaway, case closed, and that's it. And there's no work happening. There's no movement. What are you going to say? What would you do if they came out and said that? They could have shut the whole thing down.
Oh,
but they haven't.
Somebody is saying Sheila Upton is saying your mic is breaking up. Does anybody else?
Oh, mine is.
Well, I just want to make sure everybody else is having the same problem.
I'm not hearing that, but that doesn't mean anything.
K-Mac is saying I'm all right.
Yeah. Well, if K-Mac says you're all right, then you're all right. I was just going to say the lack of evidence is evidence. So.
Well, and like Sarah S. said, it takes a long time for all the technology to come back. We've talked a little bit about, those kinds of reports do take some time.
Yeah, so this is where I go to Auntie on this one because her favorite case to have followed is the Murdoch.
I guess we're gonna
Uh,
have to follow it 'cause she talks
I
about it
know.
all the time.
I'm just
does.
telling you
She's
guys to get
fascinated
into
with
If
it.
I call her on the phone, it always turns to Murdoch.
It
Always.
does.
it's just such a compelling case that they made with the circumstantial evidence.
Yeah.
It's
So
amazing.
it's similar, and we've talked about this, but with if they're building a circumstantial case, um, that technology, it's some of it you were saying they get pretty quickly, but some of it with different apps, if you're getting warrants for all these companies like say Snapchat or Life 360 or whoever you've got to get these warrants from to do geofencing kind of pinpointing of movement of various people. Some of that can take well over 6 months, a year, longer sometimes, right?
Well,
Mhm.
I know it was specifically with the Murdoch case. They had set up a timeline with all of the reports that they had gotten back, and the week of the trial, they actually got 3 files from OnStar. When they initially were told they couldn't get any more OnStar data, they ended up with 3 Excel files of significant data that they ended up having to kind of mesh into the report. So when the detective was um, in the testifying, he had to go over this report, and he said it took him a year to compile the report, and then those reports from Monstar came the week of the trial, which it was a little over a year. So
Yeah, I mean, if you think about how difficult kind of organizing, sorting through it, and I've been of the belief that that Sebastian's disappearance is not a single person, that it's a conspiracy of people.
Oh, how
They
Right.
might be having to track the movements of multiple people that could be involved with getting him out of the house. I think the flashlight video is legitimate. So I believe that there are at least 3 people, maybe up to 5 or so, with guilty knowledge of what happened to Sebastian. So if you're doing that, you're tracking all kinds of movement in people, and you've got to be precise in how you present that to
Well,
a jury
it,
and
it was
organized.
very
It would be
comprehensive.
tedious.
Yes, it was
It
very
would be.
comprehensive because they took the 3 Excel files, which were GPS data that showed GPS speeds, the codes that when you're driving and you put it in park, or you slow down or speed up. There's different codes that your system goes through. It gave them a code Excel, and then the other one was GPS speed data and the codes data. And so they took all that along with the cell phone data, the app data. They took all the steps from that the iPhones were reading their steps as they're walking around, and how many steps they took per so many minutes. So they took all that data and they laid it out in a comprehensive way, so you could basically see exactly what each one of the people were doing at the time. And I think that data would be key in this case, because it would either give you a lot of information, or there would be a lack of information, and that would be very telling,
Sure. Like
especially the phone information.
like Chris's phone in Memphis. He dodged the question when he was asked about if someone asked him if someone did a track on your phone during that phone call, would the phone have
That
been moving?
that was during Lolly had a guest on there that read her Facebook messages with
Oh, okay.
Chris, and that was one of the things that she asked him.
Okay, so this is a text, a message, right?
Yes.
Asked if that phone moved or not. Would it show movement if somebody tracked? And he wouldn't answer. He
It
wouldn't answer that
absolutely
question.
would.
And I think he used that excuse of law enforcement's asked me not to talk about that, which is like his been escape hatch, right, for every tough question. Which that letter we just read earlier, actually, that first sentence was addressing that. So when we go back and watch these interviews, we now know, unless you believe that Detective Carter is in writing putting out a fairly blatant lie that he could get caught on, unless you believe that, then Chris's excuse of law enforcement's asked me not to do this or do that, always involving like his movements and travel and such, usually.
Well, if anybody is interested in how much data can be compiled, you can go to the YouTube channel. I think it's channel 19 that covered the trial, and the detective that gave the report, and it's about 2 hours, but he goes step by step and talks about all the data. And his name is Peter Rudolphski, like Rudolph Ski. So if you are interested in just looking at that, when I watched that and rewatched it, all I could think about is this case and Sebastian, and how that data could be very significant in telling what happened to him.
Right.
Well, I was suggesting to Aunt E earlier today that maybe we should just do a whole show about that and kind of just talk about that, because it's all news to me about the abilities.
Well,
So
and
I
he
thought
goes
that might be a good
into
idea.
detail. He does. He
Mhm.
goes into detail about each type of report, that it was subpoenaed, that OnStar first said, no, we don't have it. We can't get it. And then lo and behold, here comes 3 Excel files the week of the trial with incriminating data that was very crucial to the case. So it kind of sealed the deal. And so it's really interesting, and it's definitely worth a watch if you're interested in data and how data can kind of track those things.
I think if the case they're building, I think it's going to likely rely on a lot of that.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I know Bullhorn Betty followed that case significantly and was really involved with that. And the Real Me Too, I think she was actually at some of the case, and I'm sure they would say that as well. I mean, it's just a very, very enthralling case. Got a lot of pieces, but I think that data would be crucial for this case for sure.
Yeah, it might, and it might be a good study for what's to come if that's the kind of evidence they're going to be relying on, which would be that'd be my guess. I think that's probably what's happening. So
Sorry, I'm caught up in chat. I'm reading
That's okay.
chat. There's been a lot of great comments. Let's see. I think it's You Can't Catch Me. I lost it. She was asking what makes it a conspiracy, like a criminal. Oh, okay. At Mr. E, what makes it a conspiracy? More than 2 people involved, allegedly. And then we actually had a lovely person that I don't think I've ever seen before, but thank you for answering, because, when he gets talking, a criminal conspiracy is an agreement between 2 or more people that commit a crime. This is from Lakeside Lawyer. The agreement itself is a crime. And at least one person involved must take action to carry out the plan. So thank you so much for answering that. That really helps us, because sometimes we can't, answer everything in chat.
Yeah, I just don't see how one person did this alone. I don't think it's feasible. So yeah, I will not be shocked at all if there's a conspiracy charge. Rosebud says that with good detective work and digital info, they will solve this, but it takes time. Seth's patience is incredible.
Well, that's another thing we were this is kind of a little bit off topic, but we were talking about, was it Megan Boswell or Gannon Stouch, that they would actually with Megan, they would just let her continue to lie to them, and they just kept racking up the charges on her.
Oh, is that right?
Oh yeah, she's got a ton.
I think that was the Megan Boswell one.
Yeah, it is. But I think the Gannon Stouch, Letitia, or you know what? It might have. I'm getting confused. It might have been Leilani Simon. That they would just continue to let her, say the things to them, and they would just keep adding charges to her record or to her filing.
Interesting.
Actually, look. I think that's what.
Okay, so Leilani Simon.
Yeah.
Who said that?
It's Justin.
Yeah,
Justin said.
Leilani Simon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're
Yes,
also okay. So I've been trying to get these 2 interested in this Megan Boswell case that's coming up, and that is also, she's got 10 or so charges for misleading the police. I can't think of the exact charge name, but something like that.
Yeah, that's one we are going to eventually do.
We've started working on the research on it, but we just been busy.
Yeah, that's just one. The video on it's going to be fascinating when there's some really interesting stuff with that case. We'll be doing that, and you'll see some parallels too with the Sebastian story. Fun to Ski says it will be similar to the Lori Vallow Daybell and Chad Daybell case, in my opinion. Conspiracy, in my opinion.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah. So that's it'll be a complicated. It's a complicated case, I think, especially since we don't know exactly where Sebastian is. We don't know what their theory is about exactly what happened. I think the flashlight video is pretty well what it appears to be. Um, I still believe that Sebastian left the home alive. So I don't know what happened to him after that. Um, I'm hopeful, there's just no way to know. Uh, but that's what I think is happening. And, so I kind of want to kind of transition a little toward where we were kind of planning on going with our theme on the stream. Is just kind of the deception and disinformation that's been in just crazy high gear over the last couple of months. Worse maybe than it's been the entire time. Right around the time we did our last stream, maybe before it was really heating up. But I kind of think what happened. This is how I think it's sort of played out with law enforcement. I think they've known who their suspects were the entire time. This is just my theory. I think they've had their suspects the entire time, since whatever day they first realized that he wasn't a runaway, whether it was day 2 or 3 or somewhere in there. Whatever they saw or found that led them to go, this is a crime. I think they knew who their suspects were, and for months, I think they've been probably playing a little game of a little playing dumb from the detectives, and occasionally talking to the parents and their suspects and the people that they think were involved. And I think they think either Katie, Chris, or both. I think that's who they're targeting. Everything really kind of indicates that. And I think they would occasionally come to them with information like, I think it would go something like this. Say the flashlight video. Hi, Chris and Kate. I think we'd like you to come in and take a look at some video that we found. What do you think this is? You know, yeah, that looks like the house up the street. That's not our backyard. That's another house. Like he kind of gave with the Gray Hughes story, and then police says, "Oh, you know what? I think you're right. That's probably just some trash truck, and that's a different angle. That's not what it appears." You know, and kind of seeing how they react. Bring them in, keep it friendly, keep their guard down, not let them realize they're the suspects. That's part of why you don't come out and name a suspect publicly. You don't want your suspects to know that they're in the crosshairs. And I think that's kind of how it went for months. And I think Seth got frozen out early because I think Seth was upset and at times would go out there in public and say some things that law enforcement had told him that they didn't really want out there. And so I think they decided to cut him off. And for a while, I think that's what happened. He was understandably emotional. Didn't know what to think. Your world's falling apart, right? And then this went this way for months while they're, as long as there's some flow of information and they're talking, you want to keep them talking because you just don't know what they may say, contradictions or reveal. I mean, just look at the interviews that they do. You learn a ton, and there's contradictions everywhere, right? And then I think somewhere around September, October, November, I think something tipped off that family that they were the target of the investigation. And because their whole deal has been different ever since. I can't confirm that this is true or not. At night, at least, has suggested that they are pleading the fifth, basically not talking to authorities any longer. I don't know where they got that information, but I kind of suspect that there's some truth to that. They got really different, and they got really different around. They really started getting different around the time that the green hoodie started being talked about, and the whole landscape of everything started to change. A disinformation campaign started like mad. It was almost like every day. They have a private investigator that they are allegedly working with in some capacity. And every single day it would be a new piece of disinformation, not like an opinion or a theory, but provable false information being inserted, like in almost such a clumsy way that the person putting it out didn't even really seem to care if he actually believed it or not. It's like they just came in just trying to drop hand grenades into the middle of the whole thing and just muddy the waters as much as possible. Some of it was so absurd that it's laughable, but it was working in a sense. It was getting everyone's attention each day. You'd have everything from the shrubs at the Texas Roadhouse. So nobody could hide behind those shrubs. These mostly dying bushes that were withering away, and we had literally been there like the day before to video, or the day after. I think it was somewhere around there. And they're super thick, lush bushes that are like you can barely walk through them, right? And even common sense, it made no sense that a high end steakhouse is going to have dying
Right.
shrubbery around. You'd pull up and you'd back out and leave, right? They take care of that stuff. So what is the point of something like that? You're trying to create a narrative, right? Or flashlight tag, and the ridiculous stuff with the neighbors and bulldozers and chasing cats or whatever. The one about Clutch Them Pearls, where it was because I happened to watch that live, and someone had emailed into Justin a house listing, suggesting that maybe they were selling their home to leave. And in real time on his show, Justin's sitting there going, okay, well, let me look into this. He looks it up, talks with his audience, and 5 or 10 minutes later, he's debunked it, saying, no, this doesn't appear to be authentic. That house, I don't think, is for sale. Well, that doesn't stop the investigator coming out hours later, making the false claim that Tony Mathis, with no evidence at all, had forged documents, faking a house listing, and that Clutch Them Pearls was running with it and pushing that narrative. So like defamation, that's obviously not true. He knows it's not true. It's one of those where he's lying. He knows he's lying. He knows and he doesn't care that that he's lying, right? So
Kind of sounds like politics a little bit.
It is a little. And it's so deliberate. It was almost like you could do like a daily calendar. Go, what's the disinfo today? It was almost that methodical every day.
What was I calling it?
I don't know.
Do you remember? I was calling it spaghetti.
Yeah.
I kept saying, he was like, what do you mean spaghetti? I said, throwing stuff against the wall to see what sticks. That's what I kept saying that over and over. Right. He thought I was crazy.
I didn't get the reference.
I know what that means.
Yeah, I know you would know. You're my sister.
So it's not like it wasn't sophisticated deception. It was almost just like he didn't care if you knew. And I don't know what the reason is. I don't know I'm probably going to be more fair to him than just about anybody as far as being open-minded.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he's doing. He's playing a game. I have not figured out what the game is yet. I have some theories and ideas about what he's doing as far as the investigator goes. I'm just not quite certain what it is. It's possible that it's kind of what it looks like, that he's being paid to be a disinformation agent. That it's just, hey, we need you to screw up this case and muddy it as much as possible that way. It's also possible that he's been hired as a private investigator, and he thinks that to ingratiate himself to his client, that maybe taking some shots at Seth or Tony or people that suspect the Proudfoots of having any kind of guilt would just ingratiate himself to his client, whoever they are, if they actually even exist. And I don't even know if he's being paid or not. He might be pro bono. He might be getting paid. He might be getting paid by the Proudfoots. He might be getting paid by someone else that supports the Proudfoots. It might be the $700 an hour. It might be $20 an hour. Who knows? With this person, I have no idea what the truth is. I just see the pattern. There's a
Right. You
there's
look
a
for patterns.
there's a pattern to it. I just don't know. It's a game. I just don't know what the game is. He said in an interview, he even he actually did admit it. He was on one of those panel shows where he said, let me think of how he said it. He said, sometimes I put information out there
Yes.
and I'm just doing it to see what kind of reaction I get or how people react or if they react. So he's kind of acknowledging that he's
drawing
just
people
kinda
out of the
doing
bushes.
something.
Well, he's drawing people out of the bushes to see.
and
Yeah.
I'm going to give him, I'm also going to give him the idea that maybe there is some legitimacy to that. Maybe there's a strategy to it. Maybe he has a purpose somewhere in his mind that he's working a strategy. And I just don't know what it is. He's not a journalist. He's not a historian. He's not like us where our brand is we are honest with our audience. We are trying to find truth. We are trying to base it on the facts as we understand them. We're not gaslighting. We're not running some kind of game on you guys. You're here because you want the truth of the case. We start messing with that and you all go away. That's because we're a true crime podcast trying to, that's not his job. He's a private investigator with a client. It's very similar to how we talked about At Night when they first came on the scene. We said the same thing. They're not journalists. They're not historians. They've got a mission. They've got a job. If they need to deceive the suspect or someone in the public to get to where they want to go, they're going to do it. Law enforcement's the same way. They can go undercover. They don't have to tell you that they're an undercover cop when they go undercover. That's like a myth or whatever.
Right.
They can lie to you. They can lure you in the interrogation room, make you drop your guard. They can be kind of deceptive with you there's lines they can't cross, but they can be deceptive. They don't have to tell the audience, the public, they don't have to tell you that they've had a prime suspect since day 3 of the investigation. They don't have to say it. They don't even have to call it a criminal investigation until they're ready. There's lots of stuff they can do to mislead and deceive the public if they think it serves the best interest of solving the case, right? So what with the investigator, something I've wondered is I've tried to put myself in his shoes a little bit. And I've wondered, is it possible? He's attracted to high profile cases, obviously. He always kind of gets involved in those. What if he's looking at it like the only way he could get really involved in the case would be with that family, and so he has to sort of ingratiate himself to a certain extent with them to get closer to them. $250,000 is a big reward. 50 of that is potentially from the FBI, another 200,000 from At Night. That'd be tempting to me if I were a PI. And if he felt like he needed to kind of take some shots at Seth to get closer to the family so that he could have access and see things.
You're completely speculating.
I'm just speculating. I'm telling you, I absolutely have no idea what he's doing because it doesn't make sense to me. But I wonder this, even if he's kind of, gotten close to that family and they're feeling good about him. If he came across information through his investigation that implicated that family and he thought he had a chance at the reward or the glory and fame and the bragging rights of finding Sebastian, I don't think he'd pass that up. So could it be possible that he is not could it be possible that his presence is not entirely negative? And I realize he's done some really, he's crossed some lines.
Awful things.
I'm not saying he hasn't crossed some crazy lines because he's crossed some crazy lines, particularly with the neighbor. In my mind, it's outrageous.
There's some other
with the
stuff
children.
too.
The notion of putting them under surveillance was maybe the wildest part of this whole thing to me. That's one of those where it's almost like you say it out loud and it sounds crazy. But according to that investigator, the Proudfoots have a contractor who is keeping surveillance on other minors in their neighborhood. That's what he
Yes.
claimed.
Yes.
Oh, I guess I just it
That
took
was
me
one
off
of the-
guard. I forgot.
Yeah, he
Mhm.
said he was keeping them under surveillance. I mean, that was insane. I can't imagine being that parent and hearing that.
Was that Bobby's
I would have
children?
been, yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought.
Okay. Okay.
I would have been furious.
Mhm.
I would have been out of my mind furious if that had happened to me.
Right.
And so I don't know how that family took that. I don't know what they've done behind the scenes, if they've gone to law enforcement or whatever. But that's crazy. The person that is most, I mean, the general public thinks that home, when you look at the polls, anytime anybody does a poll, who's responsible, it's like 85% one of the Proudfoots or both. Essentially the people that the public generally thinks is responsible for the disappearance is paying someone to monitor the whereabouts of other children in the neighborhood.
It's not a good look.
It's ridiculous. It's
Mhm.
crazy. It's crazy to have ever said that. And that they didn't come out and denounce that and distance themselves from that immediately is crazy too. They should have come out and said, whoa. No, we're not. We're not monitoring minor children in our neighborhood and their whereabouts. That person, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Spoke out of turn.
Spoke out of turn, made a mistake. That was a bluff, whatever they wanted to say. That was a crazy moment in the last few weeks with a lot of crazy moments. That one was the wildest one to me. But
I think K-Max got a good point here.
yeah, so K-Max says that he stated that Heather is his partner. He stated that on Laura Lodge. That concerns me. Yeah, and you know, she's talking about the PI that originally was working with Seth, and that Seth let her go for some reason. I don't know if we publicly know. Do we know? Has he ever said why?
I don't think so.
I don't know what his reason was, but yes, they are close for whatever reason. So that's kind of strange and a strange story already.
You want to look at that real quick?
Which one?
This one.
I'll just pull it up.
I don't think.
Oh no.
Go scroll up.
Okay.
Sorry.
I might have to put the glasses back on anyway.
Oh, is it too small still?
I don't know. I'm just not sure what you're looking for.
Okay, I'll just show you right here.
I mean, that
You want to talk about that?
I
didn't want to get you off track.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, they've got their opinion on it. I don't know what to say on that.
I think it's a troll, honestly.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know if they have a decent point. I hope we can address it, I
Was
guess.
that a decent point?
I don't know. Hear all sides. I think I guess someone was saying it's not true crime until we hear all sides.
We've
well,
tried to hear all sides.
You know, Katie can come out and talk anytime she likes. She's been in hiding since May.
Somebody said it was Chloe, not Heather.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Chloe. Well,
I'm not-
Chloe and Heather
Yeah.
were working together too, though.
Yes, at one time.
So there's still kind of like a strange connection between all of that. But yeah,
that's
I think
it.
all
There you
sides
go.
are being heard. We've listened to everything they say. So I don't know. We've heard all the sides. All
But
sides.
we are allowed to form an opinion based on what we've heard.
Yeah,
Right.
see, that's one of those. This is one of these logical fallacies that you hear a lot. Like you've got to be fair or even to every side. But there's a point at which all sides of an argument are not equal.
Right.
Seth as a suspect is not equal to Katie and Chris as suspects because Seth has an alibi, a rock solid, provable, verifiable alibi, and he had no motive, and he's not wealthy enough to pay somebody to do this kind of work. It's insanity, really, to still think that Seth's. So weighing those two options is not. You don't even. There's a point at which you quit even giving that any kind of time and attention. It's off the table. That doesn't necessarily mean that Chris and Katie have any involvement. It may or may not. It's not an either or. But you certainly give way more weight to the person that had him, is the last to see him, and was the person that called law enforcement about his disappearance. and was in a home with the 5 CPS reports. All of that points toward they had motive, they had the means, and they had the opportunity to do it. I don't even think there's a lot of question in most people's mind about the who anymore.
Actually, I think what the person is trying to say is why
Oh.
we trust at night.
Oh, okay. Well, it's always hard when I don't know what the other context is. I disagree. I would love to understand why you have trust in at night. I'm with you. I think Seth is innocent. As far as trust goes, the only 3 people that I actually completely trust in any of this are the ones you're seeing on the screen right now. I don't trust anybody completely. Trust and verify. But like I've said, this is something I've said about at night and Nick before, that I take them seriously, but I do not take them literally. When they put out information, because of their background and the kind of work they do, they are an intelligence agency. They're not private investigators. So I don't go to them and read their stuff thinking that I'm necessarily getting all the information as they understand it verbatim. I don't trust at night statements in that kind of sense. I believe that sometimes they put out information that we don't understand, but that whoever is
Someone's supposed to understand it.
reading it is understanding the message.
Yeah.
I think they do that kind of thing a lot, just by my observation of them. I trust that similar to is in some ways there are some similarities with them and the private investigator for the Proudfoots, in that I believe that it is absolutely in their interest to solve the case. It's great for their brand. It's great for business. It's the most high profile missing person case in the country. Why in the world would they not be trying to solve it? Of course they want to. Everybody wants to solve the case. Every web sleuth wants to solve it. Every detective. I bet it drives the Sumner County people nuts that they're getting all this criticism, being called corrupt, incompetent, all this kind of stuff. I bet it gnaws at them. I bet they're frustrated with it. There's always these rivalries between local, the local sheriffs, TBI, FBI. All 3 think they're the best. They all want to be the one to solve it, right? I would suspect Sumner County would like to be the ones to solve the case before the FBI gets involved and takes it over. Right. They don't want a PI to solve it. They don't want the private intelligence agency to solve it. They don't want web sleuths to solve it. They want to bring it home. It's their baby. It's their case. They want to close it out, right? There's egos. Everybody's got egos. And there's no benefit for any of these people involved to come away looking like failures, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Everybody like that wants to be right, and they want to be the one to break the case. I would think. I mean, that makes sense to me. And that's why sometimes you see these kind of rivalries and friction between these different kinds of groups that get involved.
Just keep reading. I got more for you.
You have much reach, and it's important you stand because people trust you.
Oh, wait, there's one more.
I'm going to stop and try it again. So glad y'all are back. I'm out. Well, thank you. I appreciate I hope we bring some. I hope we're positive, a net positive on this case.
Oh no, they're not being nice.
For money. Oh my God, you still not getting it.
They obviously don't think that you're getting what they're trying to say. They're saying that At Night is a farce and a joke, but I don't think any organization can come up with a $200,000 reward and be called a joke.
Well, even if they're doing it for money, great. So are the DAs and none of these people are working for free. The police aren't working for free. FBI is not working for free. There's promotions for people that solve the case. That if the Sheriff Craddock, if this thing is solved under his watch, he's walking right into that election. No problem at all. He'll be He'll be a hero.
No, he'll be for the rest of his life. He will be sheriff
it'll
if he
make-
wants it. Yeah.
It'll make his career. I'm
Yeah.
sure he's aware of that. Detective Carter, it'll be a huge boost to his career. Everybody wants to solve it, and everybody involved in solving it will financially be better off for it. Actually, whether it ends up being a PI or a private intelligence agency or law enforcement, or a combination of both. Actually, I suppose.
Mhm.
So money's not necessarily a bad thing. The rewards out there because money can
Well,
be.
they're saying there's no money. But that's the thing is that they're acting
Oh,
like
no,
we
there's-
don't do our research. We've
Oh,
done
yeah.
our research
Yeah, there's
Extensively.
money.
Extensively.
Yeah, I think we're some of the only people that actually researched them when they came on the scene. But no, they've got money.
They've
But at
gotten-
any rate, that kind
Oh,
of got
you
us
know, that's fine.
sidetracked. Let's get back on topic.
But that's okay. But I mean, this it's okay to bust myths too.
Oh, for sure. I'm just,
Um, But
and it's okay to have your opinion. It's okay for us to have our opinion too.
yeah, and different opinions are welcome. I mean, it doesn't really ultimately matter what you whether you things are going to happen, how they're going to happen, whether you think they are or not.
This is a good point.
The great thing about At Night is they have lots of resources and connections. Look at what happened after the TRH video action on behalf of LE, in my opinion. Yeah, that was actually a pretty big moment. Not a great one for Sumner County in a way. I still don't know what to make of the green hoodie situation because
Boy, we've talked it to death, though.
I know. I guess
What?
I mean the Sumner County's reaction to it. Because we had to have some sources that send us stuff. And most of the time our sources kind of line up. We were getting lots of conflicting information about green hoodie.
Oh yeah.
And my sources are good, like the people are good. So whoever was feeding them something not true. And I'm still not sure what the truth is. We had some telling us that Sumner County had identified green hoodie in February. We had some telling us that green hoodie had been identified later in March. And then some were telling us versions of the public story that green hoodie had not been identified until a few days after the video was released. And then they came out shortly afterward, giving that announcement that green hoodie was not involved in the disappearance and that kind of thing. Those kind of contradictions we were getting on the back end make me hesitant I don't know what the truth is. None of it's kind of great in a way, though. Because if the story, the popular story that's out there, the kind of accepted story is that At Night puts out the video, kind of puts the spotlight on green hoodie. People are watching the interaction and everything. And that Sumner County had not either looked at this video or thought that it was significant in any way until At Night kind of put a spotlight on them. Which, if that's true, that is really poor. It seems almost incompetent to not have talked to the second to last person that we know for sure saw Sebastian before he disappeared, especially since the person had hung around the car for a minute or so. The interaction looked weird. They had come from this weird place in the parking lot, weren't even eating there, went to the bathroom and left. And it's, if you're local, you know this, but that area back behind Texas Roadhouse, it's not like a populated spot. It's in the corner of a parking lot. It's not somewhere you just would go passing by. It's like, it's its own destination in the corner of a huge area, like with the Sam's and a hotel and Starbucks and different stuff, but it's out of the way. It's not like a cut through area. So it's weird for someone to just come out of nowhere and go to the bathroom and leave. To go back to where? The closed Vanderbilt clinic next door. It's weird.
On a Sunday? Yeah.
It's really weird. So that didn't catch the attention of Sumner County. If that's true, and they didn't talk to them until just a few days later for the first time, it just seems like maybe they had dropped the ball on that, and maybe that person really had nothing to do with it. Maybe they did, and they don't want to say. I have at this point, I have no idea about that. But that's a confusing story to me.
Because I know you love football, I thought you might want to see that.
Okay. So RKB says Eagles and Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl. Bring Sebastian home. So that'll be a fun matchup there. I'm sure that the Chiefs got some calls.
I was going to say, how many times has the Chiefs been the past few years? It's been a lot.
3.
Yeah.
I think this is the 3rd time in a row or something. Something crazy.
And let's go conspiracy theory. Is it Taylor Swift still dating that guy?
There have been some questionable calls throughout the playoffs that make people think that it's all rigged.
Swift? I know, but I mean, it's odd that the team or the guy that she's been dating is on the team that keeps going to the Super Bowl, right? Isn't that a little odd?
It is a little odd.
Well, so anyway, that's going to happen, I suppose. So Bills fans disappointed there, I'm sure.
Yeah, and then Coffin versus Green Hoodie's nothing.
Well, and I want to follow up with her second comment, but what if they already know what's happened and building a case and they knew Green Hoodie didn't matter? That's also,
I think that's possible.
Yeah.
I
think a lot of things are possible.
Yeah. Like Green Hoodie for me is just still in the maybe category.
It's still in the maybe pile for me too. Just
because of the contradictions, and I think what you're saying is actually the most likely, that they didn't need anything else, that they had honed, like zeroed in on what they thought had happened, and they didn't think anything that was going on at the Texas Roadhouse affected that. But so anyway, so as far as going back kind of a little bit to the deceptive tactics going on.
Do you need me for a minute, because it's time to get the kiddos going?
Sure.
Okay,
sure.
so I'm going to put my screen up, and then
if there's anything, Auntie, you want to highlight, just put them up there.
Okay, I'll put it up.
Actually, I don't have, for some reason, my little avatar is not on there. So
now we
I don't want to.
Now it's just you.
I don't like that. That's scary. Okay, I'll just stop my. Oh wait, there it is. Okay, I'm gonna go get the
K-Max
kids, I'll be back.
This was funny. K-Max says we question everything on this channel, including Taylor Swift.
I definitely question Taylor Swift and her motives. So
I mean, most of the celebrity relationships, you just have to assume they're kind of arranged, usually, anyway, right? Or it's for some purpose. I always think.
I heard it was publicity for both of them.
Most of the time, I just assume it is.
I heard that years ago, and it broke my heart, because I was all in on the famous romances, and it just broke my heart.
No.
And then but once you see it, you can't unsee it, like a lot of things. So
I'm sure sometimes, but who knows? But anyway, I think the reason I got kind of caught up in that Green Hoodie thing was just when things started to escalate too. It was around that time, and I think that's when. So I think what had happened was, by this point, that even if they're innocent, they're realizing they're the target of the investigation, I think. So to be fair, that if that's the possibility, either way, I think that they believe that they're in the crosshairs of the police now, and the detectives. Something tipped them off. Something happened, maybe in an interrogation or a question or whatever. I think somehow they kind of put 2 and 2 together, or maybe they just confronted them and asked them directly, or whatever it was. Because that's when things started to really get amped up on all of this. And then if you watched the Elevated Truth podcast that came out during December, I just recently have gone back and listened to it. It was really interesting. I actually played it from the beginning all the way on, and Elevated Truth as a podcaster, I had never listened to one of his shows before. I'd heard him on panels a few times. So I knew who he was and kind of his style and everything. And I understand he probably got some heat for his approach or whatever. I thought what I liked about him, he does ask honest questions, like throughout his show. I don't always agree with his conclusions, but he is taking an approach to asking the questions, and without kind of like a preconceived idea of what he thinks.
You said you made medicine. I don't know where it is.
Cabinet, maybe?
Nighttime, you're sure.
I think so.
I don't
Somewhere?
see it.
I don't know.
Okay.
But anyway, so it was interesting. I thought he was asking fair questions about the whole situation, just kind of what's going on. He also was talking about, I guess during that time, a lot of the doxing and kind of personal attacks was really getting pretty bad. And he was kind of giving an overall call for all sides to kind of tone it down a little bit. And, it was all stuff. I mean, for the most part, I couldn't really disagree with the sentiment and the approach. I mean, I think, he was wanting to put the focus more back on Sebastian itself and himself, and not so much these outside feuds and attacks and things that have gotten kind of, especially that month, were getting really kind of wild and out of control by lots of folks. Anyway, I wanted to see what led up to Chris calling into the show, and like what prompted it. And he kept alluding sort of to the sort of disinformation campaign that had been going on behind the scenes. He also believes that, Seth is doing something similar, but that Chris and Katie have also been doing this, like not directly saying things, but using creators to kind of let these things seep out into the public. And that he just feels that that's not right. And so that's kind of where his conversation was going. So then several people started, once he got into that, he said something along the lines of kind of letting some information out, kind of like alluding to something big that he wanted to put out there. And that's when his phone started kind of blowing up. Panelists started coming on, almost like, let's talk him off the ledge a little bit. And it was actually a fine discussion. They kind of discussed their theories or whatever. And then it got around to the truck, and that's when Chris called in. So it was an interesting interview. And during that, there's this kind of exchange where Elevated Truth is talking about this, like the leaks, the information being told behind the scenes so that creators kind of go and push these stories forward. And at first Chris starts to say, well, we don't do that. And he challenges him back and says, don't put me in this position. This is absolutely happening. Don't make me call you out in front of everyone. And everybody kind of starts getting quiet. And so really what that did, it kind of did what we have suspected, but couldn't really prove all along, is that a lot of these kind of smear stories that have been happening against Seth have been put out there for others to do the dirty work behind the scenes. Whether or not these things are true or not, who knows? These kind of smear tactics to make Seth as radioactive as possible. That's been the effect. Because a lot of these things that Seth gets attacked with really have no relevance on what happened to Sebastian at all. And a lot of the old stuff with Kate and Chris don't even have relevance to what happened to Sebastian. That's all kind of smear tactic kind of stuff to just kind of like hurt people's character, to make them less sympathetic to their situation, right? And
Right.
So we kind of have that in confirmation that that's been going on. We all kind of believe that that's where most of this stuff was coming from, but now we really know that to be the truth, just based on Chris's reaction to that. And so it's a way to sort of, it's a form of deception itself. And something else I've kind of started to come to believe, that it's another theory that is popular, but I don't quite buy. There's the theory that that his family has bought off all these YouTubers. Like there's all this money going into all these different TikTokers and YouTubers to push their narratives and stories and that kind of thing. And I don't actually believe that that's the case. There might be some money that's happened here and there, but I don't think there's a system of like, a dozen creators that are getting $500 here and there for pushing a narrative. I don't find that believable. I think more likely what I think has happened is I think Chris, and people have laughed at me for saying this before, I think Chris, when he wants to, can be very charming and likable, and he knows how to be manipulative, and he knows how to manipulate people. Because I don't think that I know we always see the angry, brash side in those interviews and things. That's what we all kind of remember. But he has to have a switch where he knows how to pull people in, because you don't marry 5 women in like in a dozen years or whatever if you don't have some skill with knowing how to talk and be likable and tell people what they want to hear. I know people are reacting to that. It's kind of, me saying this, but I think it has to be true.
Yeah.
We just don't see it. But it's a common refrain you hear from people that are more sympathetic to Chris and Katie. It's people often that have spent a lot of time talking to them. Sometimes people will even have turned completely from like a 3-hour phone conversation, come out totally different than when they went into it. And so I don't think that it's all, there's this kind of like, I hate the divide in the way things have gotten, good guys, bad guys, hate channel. And, people there might be some people that have, I don't think it's this blanket statement that you could make that everybody that's kind of supportive of Chris and Katie are like these bad people with nefarious agendas or whatever. I think that there are many of them that, whether they're subscribers or some of the content creators, that are just genuinely believe and have been to a certain extent manipulated by Chris and Katie is what I think. I think that as time goes on and more truth comes out, I think some of them are going to start to question things that they've heard and wonder if they've been manipulated. I'll tell you, people, and if I know several of you are YouTubers yourself and have your own true crime channels that are here, you will know that this is true. There are always people trying to reach out to you and control your messaging and drop stuff and whatever. And whether it's an anonymous source or an email, a subscriber or whoever, another creator, people are always trying to kind of like manipulate you. I don't know how else to say it.
And Amber had asked us to answer her question. She just said, I'm still unsure. Is FBI involved in the case still?
Yes.
They were there pretty soon, from my understanding.
And I think they're still involved.
Yes. So they've got at least one person assigned to the case. They're not the leads though. So they're just it's like, what do they call it? A police cooperation effort or something along those lines. It's called
Joint efforts, usually what they call it.
And I didn't realize this until somebody mentioned it, and then we heard one of the old statements by somebody. But the FBI card team, I didn't know that they were involved from the very beginning, and they are a very successful group. Their success rate is very high at finding missing children and solving those cases. I didn't realize they had been involved since the first week, but they were. And I can't remember who pointed it out, but someone mentioned it, and then saw an interview.
I've been going through a lot of the interviews, working on some things, and maybe you heard it when I was working on it.
Yeah. Basically, while you were gone, I was just essentially talking about how I think that there's just people that have been manipulated to a certain extent by the prophets. That's kind of what my theory is, and that it's not so much like a. And I think over time, and especially over time, as more truth starts to come out about what's going on, I think that they'll see it. I think Elevated Truth is asking some questions because he's seeing some contradictions himself. And I think when he was talking about those things on his panel, you know, the people that were all there, I think we're kind of starting to question things a bit too. You know, so anyway, that's kind of how I think is how it's happened.
Oh, hey, Jude says that the card team concluded he was not a runaway. I don't.
I didn't know that.
If you can send me that, I would like to see it. If you have a clip or a document, that would be great.
I did see that. Isn't that Vivaldi group wanting to get back involved with the Sebastian case as well? That was something recent.
Yeah, it appears so. Yeah, so I know
Okay,
about that
and
too.
Mohawk Mom says the card team was never at home, just contacted by phone. So, if you guys have that info, I'd like to.
Am I saying it wrong? Is it cart or card?
Card.
Okay, somebody else in the chat had cart. I can't remember what the child abduction rescue team or child abduction rescue department. It's something like that, right?
It could
Okay,
have been.
so yeah,
it could have been a typo.
those details I'm not as sure about. I wasn't even aware of it until during our hiatus. I heard it somehow.
This is a good one by Justin.
Yeah, and I mean, and look, it happens. Justin says, I think once it's all said and done, they're going to look back and be like, I was manipulated like Edgar's 5 wives. Yeah, and I think some of them are starting to think that. Maybe they're keeping that private for now, but I think if you're reading the tea leaves and you're looking at how law enforcement's acting, they're acting like they're not acting like they're unsure about who they're bringing charges against. It looks like it's just a matter of when. It's really how it appears. They also turned around and started talking to Seth, which they hadn't done since like April or so. Brought him in on Sebastian's birthday to have a conversation. And Seth comes out where he had been very skeptical and critical of law enforcement. Came out of that meeting with a 180 and feeling like whatever they told him behind closed doors, he came out singing their praises and really hasn't backed off of that since. So, I mean, what else are we supposed to think? We no longer can believe he's a runaway. We can't believe that Seth is involved. It kind of just leaves you with either the parents or someone else very close to him. We've talked about the statistics before. The stranger danger is like astronomically small for his age. Being a male, 15 years old, it's like 19 people a year fit that demographic. That's like lottery numbers. It's just it's extremely unlikely that that's the case. The far more likely is that it's his parents or someone close to him, like a teacher, a neighbor, a grandparent, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But so that's really what we're left with. So, I think that I just think that that's where we are.
I just want to say hi to Brittany J.
Oh, hi, Brittany J. Thanks for coming in.
She
Brittany
didn't
J
hear
is
all that.
Another that we appreciate. I was coming home from the hospital one day while we were out, and happened to just I was listening to your replay, and you were praying for our child. So we do very much appreciate that, and you were very supportive to do that with your audience with us, and we appreciate you very much.
Eve loves God. Edgar is the name that Justin has given to CP.
So fondly refers to as.
Yeah, I think.
Aww.
Yeah, so
we love you back. You know that.
So anyway, I think that what they've realized is the best way for them to combat things right now is to fuel the disinformation and deception and muddy the waters as much as possible. I mean, and you can just almost judge by the effect, because that's what's been happening.
Did you hear? Sorry, I have to go check. We actually
Sure.
heard a thud, so I
I
want to
know.
go check
I
it.
know.
Oh,
That sounded like something falling over, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna go check. I'll be back.
well, and Tennessee Nurse said, and there's typically a digital footprint with that, with that age child on those, and that's why TBI usually finds those children. They usually take their phone, or they play a game, or they log into something that they normally do or play, and that's how they're found. And we know this situation is not like that.
Let's see. So let's pull up Serenity here.
Okay.
Serenity 72. Thank you for that. Mob Crew did a live 2 nights ago debunking a lot of what SF said, and he was so sarcastic. He had me laughing so hard I was crying. And welcome back. Thank you, Serenity. Yeah, Mob Crew's solid.
He's great,
if you
yeah.
want, especially on the video breakdown and stuff like that, he's got a real talent and a real great approach to all of this. So he's fantastic. We did a live about one of his videos when he kind of first got involved with this a while back, and kind of covering him and his theories. Yeah, so this is what I almost wondered. I don't know if this is, I don't know. Like I've said, I don't know what to make of SF. I don't know if he's being used. I don't know what the situation is, what his game is, what his awareness of things are. No idea. I just know that what he's putting out is just not true. So you just can't look to him for facts. You almost have to assume anything he's putting out is untrue. It's almost that way. It's like surprising when the information ends up being accurate, right? So you have to kind of go into his stuff that way. But he puts it out at such a frequency that it's almost like is he being used in such a way to try to distract from the reality, like the interview that Chris did with the Elevated Truth, where there were all kinds of things said that were not great for Chris. I mean, he did not come out of that looking good at all. So it does appear, whether he's aware of it or not, that the investigator is being used as a form to run interference a bit. And I don't know if people were. I haven't heard anyone mention this. I don't know if other people have caught this or not. But like the interview that happened on Lore Lodge with SF was kind of highly anticipated. It was looking like everybody was excited to kind of see this big showdown and or whatever. And it was interesting and informative and all of that. And then kind of went off the rails afterward, right?
I mean, it seemed very cordial and hospitable, and actually everybody was expecting, I think, a lot more fireworks, and then it was kind of like, no, it was very, very professional. And then all of a sudden, as soon as they get off, it just goes, it derails.
Right. And I think what I don't know if people picked up on this or noticed it, but the way that happened, the challenge wasn't to SF originally. The challenge that Aiden had laid down was to Chris. Chris had gone on, or Aiden had gone on his show, essentially challenging Chris's manhood, telling him he was a coward and all this kind of thing, and no man, whatever, unless you come on my show with my 600,000 subscribers and face me. And I mean, he really challenged him hard. So what happened? SF steps in and kind of took his place. It was. Well,
I think they went back and forth on X a little bit.
But it was almost like he saw the heat that Chris was getting, and he decided to step in there and be like Katniss in the Hunger Games. I'm going to be your tribute, and I'll take your place. And that kind of got Chris off the hook, because otherwise, how can you justify as an innocent parent not taking advantage of a 600,000 subscriber YouTube channel with a very broad audience? His audience is not true crime. You would have been, it's not like Chris coming on our show does him no benefit at all. He's talking to the same people that all know the story, are all very aware of who Sebastian is. He's not doing really anything to raise Sebastian's profile. But going on Lore Lodge would have introduced him to people that are not true crimers, 600,000 of them for the first time. And that would have been very difficult. That's very difficult for him to come up with a justification why he wouldn't do that. Even more so now, because he saw how Aiden was actually very professional with SF, and fair. I mean, they had a discussion and talked things out, but it wasn't like a hit job. He was kind to him, really.
Yeah, I was
Um,
expecting it to go differently for
Yeah.
sure.
And so now, what excuse does Chris have for not going on there? And Katie, too, for that matter. 600,000 people that do not know anything about Sebastian. You can come out and say occasionally, "Oh yeah, we want you to put up more flyers." Well, go out and get in front of people. Uh, there's no excuse for it if you're innocent. There just really isn't. Not after you saw how he handled SF in a very professional way. But what happened in effect was by SF taking his spot, the heat kind of went off of Chris. People weren't even talking about it that I could see anywhere. So it did seem like he kind of sacrificed himself to keep Chris from having to be on the show. Anything else on that before?
I probably had thoughts, but I didn't want to interrupt you. So
How was our upstairs? Anything
okay, it was a
destroyed?
bunch of not me's. Do you know what I mean by that?
Mm-hmm. The not
It was-
me
Oh.
did it.
The not
really?
me's. I didn't do it. No, it wasn't me.
Not me.
Not me.
Mhm. Just a ghost in the attic or something. I guess.
It was a very loud noise, and it scared me. Startled the kids because they were like, "Aren't you supposed to be on your live stream?" So, but yeah, it was a bunch of not me's. So I don't know what happened, but everybody's good. I checked them.
One of the-
Brittany says she's going through that with her kids right now. We have a lot of not me's in this house. No, I didn't do it. So, Beth B9611 says we only need 83 more.
Ooh.
Ooh, we are almost there. We are, if you've not, so we are, 82 away from the Machete party. So if you haven't hit the like button, that is how we celebrate that milestone. If you don't know what I'm talking about with the Machete party, you will be glad to be here
Well, I
for it.
also made the new video.
And the new video. So we're going to
It's
do
not
both
as
of those
good
if we
as
hit it.
the super chat one.
One other.
Aw, Tia Nurse says I'm a good mother.
Well, everybody was saying while you were gone, "Oh, look, Katie, this is what a good mom does when she hears a thud."
Oh,
that hey now.
I know.
I know, but that's what they were saying.
I know.
Now
If that even happened, I don't know.
we don't
Right.
I'm not sure that happened or not.
I felt like that dialogue was very rehearsed.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say how much of that was. I mean, I in general think that everything from 9 to 6 o'clock in the morning was fiction of some sort. It's just a matter of the degree.
Mhm.
GA64. I know Casper the Ghost too. So I loved Casper. I actually love the movie they put out in the 90s. Was it the 90s? When did they put that out? I don't know, but I love that movie.
Oh my gosh, we have so many people here tonight.
I
Well,
know.
thank
Dude,
you.
we had fun.
That's crazy. Well, thank you for all being here with us.
The amount of support is
Yeah.
amazing. We appreciate you guys.
We really do appreciate it. So I there's one other topic I kind of wanted to get into.
Sorry. Mohawk Mom made me laugh.
Not me, or I did not do it, or I don't know, are the three people that I had my own when I told my children.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bunch of not me's.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you.
So nothing looked damaged, though,
Oh.
right?
Brittany remembers. I cry every
Yeah,
single
she does.
time. The last few minutes when they're dancing, I cry every single time. My kids think I'm ridiculous.
And Tony says 26 more. Let's go.
We're almost
Oh,
there.
we're so close.
I'm gonna say to go into my next topic yet until we hit the Machete
well,
party.
if you have anything you need me to look up, please give me a heads up.
One thing I wanted to mention, just kind of, Peter Hyatt has been active again on X. I don't think he's doing videos yet, but
Julie Skolnick's here. Hi, Julie.
hi,
Welcome.
Julie. Good to see you. But yeah, so Peter's at least doing well enough to be tweeting and doing that.
good.
So he's worth checking out if you don't have an X account. He's great there. So he seems to be doing okay at the moment. So that's great news. I love watching his videos. He's just excellent.
I
Four
really
to go.
I was gonna say, I really thought it was hard for us to even think about streaming the first few weeks. And then it got to be, I don't know, in a way harder
The longer
And-
we were,
Yeah, the
were-
longer
Oh,
we
yeah.
were gone. And I just want to tell you guys, yesterday when we premiered our video, you really cheered me up. That's probably the happiest I've been in a long time. And
Yeah.
I wanted to thank all of you for that.
It's felt. It is definitely felt.
Yes.
Um,
Okay.
We're there.
We're there.
We are there.
Woohoo! Okay, so can I play? Do you want me to play the machete first or my new video first?
Do the new video and then machete after.
Okay, so I'm
Because
gonna
we'll probably do machete 3
Okay,
times.
this one's not very good compared to the other one. I really like the super chat video, but you guys just tell me if you think it's funny. It was just me being silly because I was needing something kind of light to think about. So
Sure.
We got 1,000 likes. We got 1,000 likes.
It's cute.
That's all right. It's good.
can I do super chat too? I just love it.
Go ahead and do super
Okay,
chat.
it
But
makes
don't
me
make it wait
happy.
too long on that machete.
Okay,
Peop-
hold on.
Thank you for the super chat. 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 Thank you for the super chat.
That
That's
dog
good too.
just makes me laugh every
Yes.
time.
It's so cute.
All right. You've waited. You guys did the work and you got us to 1,000 likes. So here is your machete party.
She also said she was going to bring a machete,
karate,
machete,
karate,
machete,
karate,
machete.
karate.
We used to
It
just
never gets
play-
old.
It does not get old. It's been a while since I've seen it.
I know.
Oh man, that's good.
My favorite part though is Seth at the end and the side eye. I mean, because you
don't
get
know.
into the machete karate and then the eyes. It's great.
All right. Is there the rule of three?
The rule of 3.
All right.
I think the rule of 3.
She also said she was going to bring a machete,
Karate,
machete,
karate,
machete,
karate,
machete.
karate.
It's just so
It's so silly.
all of it. It's all of it's so good. And Chris is so serious with that machete. So serious.
She
Yeah.
also said she was going to bring a machete,
Karate,
machete,
karate,
machete,
karate,
machete.
karate.
Oh man, that is good. Well, thank you for the 1,000 likes, and I hope everybody
Yeah.
enjoyed the. I think some of you have not seen that before.
I think I should just
Um,
make a repeat of Seth's side eye. I love that.
And the video too that you were talking about earlier, that she premiered yesterday was just kind of a project. You want to talk about why you did that and what you're hoping to?
Well, I started it. Actually, it's been ready since October. I just am really bad about putting things up. But essentially, I got tired of having to go back after. Well, you might want to explain it first because some people may not have seen it.
Yeah, so she did basically just the interviews as they related to what happened on Sunday. And so you know how it is with these interviews. You're like, okay, was that said in the Smiley interview or the
Like,
Duchess
it's
or whatever?
So confusing.
And you don't know where the timestamps are on a certain detail. So she was like, I just want to have the timeline as they've described it all together. And she was kind of doing it more for your own purpose,
Right.
really, just
Mhm.
so you wouldn't have to keep doing it, and thought, well, maybe that'll be a useful tool.
Right. And that's essentially why I did it. So I did Sunday, and I started working on Monday, and I'm actually having a difficult time finding good clips describing Monday. I mean, some of them are the same, same interviews, but I don't know how to explain it. It's just not as detailed.
Yeah, because once you get to he was gone
Right.
and the phone call,
Right. Well, the phone call is Sunday,
they don't really ever talk much about,
Monday.
not a lot about what happened, search wise, people arriving at the house, things like that. So the Monday stuff would be pretty brief. But maybe more side by side comparisons like that would be good if there's any.
And I wanted to, I know that several of us kind of go back to these interviews, and I thought it would be a useful tool for not just us, but for other creators. That's why I made it. And for other people who just want to kind of look at the side by side comparisons.
And someone asked if we had the dispatch audio. We've heard the dispatch audio.
I have it. I think I would have to
At
look.
one time we did, yes.
Yeah, we've definitely listened to it before. I can't remember who originally put that out.
It's yeah. I honestly, my mind's getting murky with all this stuff. I know everybody else feels that way.
There's
I
so
know
much
everybody else feels that
information
way.
over the course of these 11 months.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And before we close out tonight, and I'm not saying that we're doing that yet, but before we close out, I would like to say a prayer for Sebastian because it is the 11-month anniversary of his going missing.
Yeah.
So do you want to do that?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Dear God, we come to you and with heavy hearts for Sebastian. We pray that he is brought home, found safely. We pray for Seth and everyone that loves Sebastian that there's some resolution and peace and that and comfort and that we that we bring him home safely, and we ask that you be with law enforcement and everyone looking for him, that they that you guide them and help and guard them, protect them. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Man.
I didn't mean to make everybody feel sad. I just think that I feel the power of prayer, and I think that we
There's
need
a lot
to
of
all
people here, so
yeah,
let's
we all
pray.
need to be exactly. Sorry,
And
I
I-
didn't mean to change your thing. I did not want to let the day pass without doing that.
No, that's okay. I thought about him a lot around Christmas in particular. And it's with what we were kind of going through, and we're fighting and clawing to save our kid and keep him here. But we had him there on Christmas, and it was a gift to us. And
Yes.
I was very, I mean, we don't take life for granted around our house at all. And nothing's guaranteed. And I was very hyper aware of that day. And I did think of, what we're going through. My kids were there, and Sebastian's wherever he is, and we don't know. And so I was thinking about him that day, and how, you just can't take those things for granted. And
No, I felt it too.
He was certainly on my mind on Christmas in particular.
And in our prayers, of course.
And I don't know. I just
Everybody that was missing him was on my mind that day.
Yeah.
So, and in my prayers. I wanted to say this real quick. 6664
thank you.
TM says that Jessica Danielle is who put out the audio. You are correct. I could not remember that, and I have it saved. You're absolutely right. Thank you for reminding me.
And Mrs. E, this will make you happy.
Okay.
Oh man, I can't believe I'm singing the thank you for your super chat song and dancing with my arms and head in rhythm.
I'm telling you, it's a good,
It is catchy.
it's a fun song.
It's a
Everybody
catchy
in our
song.
house is singing it. Aw, we didn't say hi to Grandma Chachi. Hi.
I did see you there, though. But thank you, Grandma Chachi.
We see you guys all. It just we're so overwhelmed with all of you here,
Yes.
and I can't tell you how much we appreciate it. Really. Oh, we've got a UK super chat. Let's see.
'Cause
Oh, wow.
following from the UK, this is a lovely and respectful group. I pray for Sebastian's return soon. Wishing the best for E's son too.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. And I'll tell you, it means a lot, because I know it's really late there right now, right? It's super late
I don't know, or early,
or super early.
something. I'm not sure. But thank you for
Thank you
being
so
with
much.
us.
How would you say that? Bios?
Don't know.
Bozar.
Bozar.
Those are.
Thank you
Maybe.
so much. That's very sweet of you.
But yeah, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get you off your,
I'm
like
just reading-
derail you.
No, it's okay. I wasn't. There's so much. The problem I'm having is there's so many things that have been going on. I'm not sure which topic to jump to next because I kind of want to comment on a variety of different
Sure.
things that have been going on. We'll probably go more into stuff that happened with that interview with what's the Elevated Truth that he did, and he did a nice job with the interview. I'm sure. I mean, people get criticism for everything,
I thought he did too.
but I thought he did a nice job of being firm but kind in the interview. Like you can't push people too hard in an interview like that, but you also can't. You don't want to roll over either. So he did a nice job of
Kind of keeping control.
keeping control and asking fair questions and that kind of thing.
I do think that, I feel like that his name fits him.
Yeah.
I you know what I mean? Like his username really fits him.
Yeah. I think he's interested in the truth, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think he,
and we
think
can
that's
relate
true.
to that because that's how we feel.
That's our approach too.
Mhm.
If I know there, all the the teams, you get all this stuff about teams or whatever. We're not on a team. If there were new evidence that somehow pointed in a totally different direction of what we believed, we'd flip in a heartbeat on that. I'm not married to anything. We just want to know what happened to the kid, and whatever that is, that's just where we're going. If something we think is a fact is not, we want to know it. And
That's right.
Truth seekers, if you're a truth seeker, you have to be humble by nature and recognizing that you can be wrong. You have to be willing to say, no, this was a mistake. I misunderstood this, whatever. That's a truth seeker. You don't get dug in on a position and defend it even when the evidence is starting to prove that you're not correct. Dave Ramsey calls those people right fighters. I don't know if you ever listen to that Dave Ramsey.
Mhm.
You know how he talks about right fighters
Love,
sometimes.
love Dave Ramsey.
And what he means by that are people that are like, they don't care if they're actually right or not. They just want to win the argument. That they're not looking for the correct answer or the better way. They just want to be proven right. So that's the opposite of what I think Elevated Truth is. Actually, I think he's a truth seeker.
I don't know what that is. Eve Loves God says, and thank you for being a member for 5 months, Eve. Elevated Truth is a fellow Aspie.
What is it? I don't know what an Aspie is.
Is that Asperger's?
Oh, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
He has mentioned I think he mentioned somewhere that he has. I think he mentioned he has autism. Yeah.
Just Janet asked what Middle East favorite color is. I wonder if they can guess.
Oh, Middle East.
Yeah. I wonder if everybody can guess.
I
Before I
know.
say it. I know you know. Anybody have a guess? No, it's not blue. No. I'll just say it.
It's a tough one to guess.
It is a tough one. It's orange, believe it or not.
Yeah.
It's orange.
So I don't know if I know if I know anyone else that
I
Do
don't
you know anyone
anymore.
else's favorite color is orange?
Well, you could tell the egg story because that's the best.
So we would go to the Nashville Zoo and do the egg hunts they do there every year, like the big field or whatever. And he's maybe 3, something like that. Pretty little.
Very little, like scared where I didn't want to be too far away while he was looking for eggs.
I mean, he's a little guy, and the way they do it, they come through with like this big tractor, and they throw out like bags of eggs, like they're eggs on top of eggs. It's just piles of eggs because there's hundreds of kids that are getting ready to go out there, and he goes out and he's like walking past like all the eggs. I'm like, what is
But
wrong?
does he not understand what the concept
What is wrong with him?
Yeah.
You know, he's not picking. How are you not seeing these? You're like stepping on eggs. And then I'm looking at his bucket later and it's like only the orange eggs, like completely
I have a picture of it.
dismissed every other egg. It was only going to take orange eggs. Of course,
And it's a bucket
any of them.
full of orange eggs.
yeah. So he's always been that way, crazy about that color. And Tennessee nurses UT orange. Yeah. So
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it didn't really have anything to do with UT. That's what's funny.
no,
That was he
No.
didn't even know UT existed at 3. So
no, but yeah. So that was kind of funny. What do you think? Do you want to? I could go a little bit as far as the some of this elevated truth stuff if you like, but if you want to,
it's up to you.
okay.
We've
I-
got about 20 minutes. I drank a lot of coffee. So.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and go into this part because this is what I wanted to talk
I would
about.
like to
with,
wrap it up by 10, if that's
well,
okay.
I wanted to talk about this with Auntie anyway, but one of the things that happened in that interview is
And 1 second. Thank you all for the orange hearts in
I
chat.
didn't
That
even
is
think
so
of it like
sweet.
that.
I'm looking at them and I'm like, these are nice, and didn't even thinking about it.
That
But
is
that is very
awesome.
sweet of you all.
Appreciate it. But so Elevated Truth was talking to Chris in that interview, and of course there's several things of interest. But at one point he asks about the CPS reports, if there were 5 CPS reports, and Chris is like, I don't know how many there are. So to me that is obviously not true. Because just 2-3 weeks earlier, Tony had been on our show and had put out there that there were the 5 CPS reports, which of course, was, caught everybody's attention, was very upsetting. And in the span of about 1.5 years, even. And so to me, it is absolutely impossible to believe that over those couple of weeks, Chris would have heard this and would have said, well, okay, how many were there? There was the one here, there was the one there, there was one. He knows exactly how many there were. You don't just go, start. You all right?
I'm moved.
Hmm.
Just moved.
Okay.
I mean, if they
Um,
haven't learned by now that I cry at the drop of a hat, then
Okay.
it just
All
is
the
what
orange.
it is. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just moving.
Yeah.
I'm.
So, but to me, it's just completely not feasible that, over those couple of weeks, he wouldn't have had it narrowed down exactly how many CPS reports he'd had. No way he doesn't know the answer to that question. And we even really know already that we knew there were 3 going into it because he had already acknowledged, the one that with the belt whipping incident. And he had said that there had been another one that was open due to him being missing. I don't know if that's true or not, but he at least acknowledged the second one. And then in another interview, he had kind of slipped up. And when he was talking about the CPS worker coming out to the house, that he had seen her before with the other thing, which, of course, is another CPS incident, right? So we knew there were already 3. So it's not like it was, in a way, it shouldn't have been all that shocking to us that there were even 5, if it was happening at that kind of frequency. But anyway, to me, that was an obvious bit of deception on his part, or just dodging the answer completely. Noel says, welcome back, E families. Missed you all so much. Hope Junior E is doing well and praying for full recovery once again. Welcome back, and still praying for the E family. South Africa.
South Africa. That's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know if we've had South Africa on the show yet.
And the UK, it's 3:35. They said their time
3:35.
Oh,
in the morning.
go to bed. We're not that exciting.
Maybe they're working a night shift or something and listening to us.
Um,
Well, thank
I-
you so much, Noel.
I
And
need a palate cleanser, and Castle has been asking for this repeatedly, so
Okay.
I am going to do this really quick. It's only 2 seconds long. One more time. Okay.
It really should be a GIF, right? Just the side eye
It's not a GIF, it's a GIF.
GIF.
We argue about this all the time. Auntie, what do you call it?
GIF.
Is it
Yeah. He calls it a GIF.
Well, I mean, I could see that, but I
Middle
think
E and I argue with him all the time about
well,
this.
Jif is like the peanut butter and
Peanut
it's with a
butter.
J. So I always call this one a GIF because it's with a G. But it could be because a G makes a J sound sometimes.
Well, don't kids know what's right, as far as the technology world. And if Middle E says that's what it is, I'm going with Middle E.
He would know.
He would.
But I'll probably just keep saying GIF just to be annoying. It's just
Somebody
because
said they
that's
loved
my-
all my patriotic stuff. I'm in my husband's office.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
that's
the
where
creator even said it's pronounced with the J sound, says Kloops. Oh,
Oh, so
it is Jif.
it is GIF.
is it really? That's crazy. But Bear is with me. So I'm going with
Well,
Bear.
we don't know how they're pronouncing it.
That's true.
We don't.
Because it's pronounced.
Zoots and Boots says jar Jif.
Jar GIF.
Okay.
Yeah, this might be one of those things like gyro.
I
hero,
embarrasses
gyro.
20 years ago.
Tomato,
it was
tomato.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, fine.
Okay. I think
Give
it's
him the big head, guys.
I
Make him think he knows everything. Just kidding.
I actually I hear people pronounce it both ways. So I don't know what which one's going to win out long term.
Wait.
But with what I wanted to talk to with Auntie about
Sorry, I got off topic.
was on the CPS report stuff. Okay, so if we've got 5, I wanted to understand how they escalate. Like when does it start
Oh,
to become
yeah.
serious? Like, so the first one, I'm assuming the person comes out and
Well,
it's kind of a visit
sometimes-
and probably nothing substantial happens, right?
Well, first they have the intake. They get the report and they get that report in their hand. And they look at everything. They basically, the person, you talk to an intake worker when you call. So you don't even talk to a social worker. An intake worker takes the call. They write down all the details from the person reporting, and the reporting, they can be anonymous. They can be a parent. They can be a relative, a neighbor, a teacher, a principal, a counselor. It can be anybody that feels like it can be somebody in Walmart that knows somebody and sees a kid and wants to report that the mom was beating him. It could be anybody. But then they screen that report that the intake worker has, and they decide whether they're going to escalate it to a social worker. And if they accept the report and escalate it, they kind of assign it a priority based on the report too. So they're going to say, this is urgent. This kid is in imminent danger. And if they escalate it, they could do something within the day. We've had reports that when I was in education, we would report and we would have a social worker there in 2 hours. Sometimes it might be 2 days, depending on the severity. So that is all decided. And then a lot of times they will go and they might visit the child at school, but then they'll visit the parents at home. Whoever the report is about. So they'll go into the home and they'll assess. They'll have the kid in a very neutral environment. Usually they do the kid at school before they go home. I know with serious situations, they did that for us, but they can also interview the kid at home away from the parents for a few minutes. Then they can interview the parents or the caretakers, whoever's caring for that child. And then based on the interview and the information, they can make decisions that moment, or they can kind of say, we're just gonna see how things go, just talk to all parties. And so they kind of do what I would say call a risk assessment. They'll say, is this a risk? Does this child need to stay in the home? Everything's going to be okay. It's just not a good situation. And we need to do some discussion and some education or whatever. And they'll decide the level of risk. If it's a high risk, they can make decisions that moment, or they can kind of just keep that information and say, you know what? This is something we just want to keep an eye on. We don't feel like he's in imminent danger. However, we're just going to keep this case open for a while. So they basically are making decisions as they go along. They can make decisions that day if they feel it's serious enough once they've done the risk assessment that they're going to take that child from the home, or they can ask a parent to leave the home. And if there was one parent or one person or even a sibling that was abusive to another sibling, they can handle it however they see would be the best way to get that child in a safe environment and that he's going to be protected, or she. And then they'll provide follow-ups. If they feel like the abuse is substantiated, they'll provide like follow-up services. It may be counseling for the whole family. It could be just steps that they take. But the more reports that they get, the more serious the situation will look, and the greater the level of I guess you would say, the greater the level of involvement. Like I said, they may say, okay, this is the third account. The same person in the home is there's something going on here. Or they could just say, he gets mad. He gets mad and he reports his brother for hitting him. And it's really not that serious, but the mom and dad need to take it seriously and possibly do some counseling with the two boys. I mean, it's according to what the situation is, of course. They're going to, but they can do a whole host of things to remediate the situation before they close the case. And usually they will only close the case once there's no safety concerns. But if they don't really come up with a person at fault, or they don't come up with what they feel like is really anything that's going to be a serious threat to the child, they may close the case and just say, it's not, we don't feel like it's a big risk. We think this was maybe just one brother against another and they were just mad, and they could close that case. So 3 weeks down the road, a month down the road, 6 months down the road, they get another report. Well, it's the same thing. And this time the child has bruises and he says his brother is choking him. It depends on the situation. But as they see more things build up, and they're going to look back at the old reports, and they're going to take that information. They're going to take the new report and they're going to assess. They're going to do the same steps every single time for each instance that they validate that intake complaint, and then they escalate it to a social worker. They'll follow those same steps every time, but the steps might have more severe consequences the more that's reported, if they're consistent. Or if they feel like the child is unsafe, they will say, we want to remove him from the home, or we want this parent not to be in the home until we have concluded this case and we have determined if this is going on. So there's a lot of ways that they can remedy the situation, but they have a protocol that they follow every time they get an intake. And sometimes it's substantiated and it's escalated to a social worker and it goes through the whole process. And sometimes it just ends at the intake call and they say, no, this is not substantiated. But they do keep a file of everything. And say they get 3 or 4 calls and they may have dismissed the first 2 or 3. When they get this 4th one, they're going to say, this person's called 4 times. We've got to investigate this more. And they may escalate it just to investigate if these claims are true or not. But it just really depends on individual districts, individual areas and states, and how they handle it and what their protocols are. But pretty much that's the protocol for every social services department. Will have those steps that they have to take.
Okay. I just wasn't sure how like quantity, if there's a point at which, but it kind of just sounds like it's more depends on what the actual
There will be times in certain ones that the police are called in that day, like that they
Yeah.
have a child that they feel has definitely been assaulted, an essay, for instance, or
Yeah.
marks, visible signs of being hurt. They may call the police in and follow a police report at the same time that they're doing this investigation. And the police may come in and do their own investigation. They may arrest someone. They may mandate someone leave the home. They may remove the child and put him in foster care or with a relative. In the most serious cases, the court's going to get involved, the police and then the court system, and the court can terminate. I mean, that has happened in cases that I've dealt with, that court terminated the parents' rights simply because the child had health issues. He was a diabetic, and they were not, I don't want to say they weren't intelligent enough. They just didn't understand all that went into it. And he would go into ketoacidosis all the time and end up in the hospital and almost die. And it was just, they didn't have the capabilities to handle it and know what to do. They just couldn't do it. And he ended up being taken away ultimately with the foster care family that did take care of his needs. And it was sad because, that he didn't want to leave his mom and dad, and they didn't want their son to leave, but they couldn't handle the medical needs of their child. And so there's a whole host of reasons that courts will get involved and police will get involved. I could name them off all day because it happened all the time. I dealt with it all the time. Cases after cases after cases. I could give you examples, but I just could give you example after example.
Sure.
But one case in particular with three little boys at home, we had grown very frustrated with social services because we knew the abuse was going on, that we knew the children were completely neglected, and they went out time after time after time. And they would conclude the case and say, well, we talked to them, and they're going to do a better job about making sure someone's home when they get home from school. Da 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 da. Well, one time, this was probably the fourth or fifth time we called, and at that point, we knew that the children were getting themselves. The youngest one was 5, the oldest one was 9, and I think the other one was 7, and they were getting themselves up, getting themselves dressed, getting on the school bus, coming to school, going home, figuring out food somehow, but no one was home with them for over a week. And we finally had to call social services. Social services went out there and found that there was no one there. They called the police. The police took them away, and the children were removed from the home immediately. But it took 4 or 5 times before we could get those actions, and they had to go physically see that no one was in the home. There were no adults. No adults had been there for several days. So it just depends on the circumstance. It's very specific to what the situation that child is dealing with or children are dealing with, but they follow that same protocol every time. Intake, risk assessment, initial investigation, and then then they'll come up to who they're going to, if they're going to collaborate with law, if they're going to collaborate with the courts, and then they'll come up with findings, and in those findings they'll have steps that have to be taken in order for the house to be I guess in order, or the child to not be in any danger or harm. And they'll have follow-up services where they check in every so often. And that would be something that I would like to know, who was checking up on Sebastian. If he had 5 reports, who was checking up on him? How many times had they gone in the home? If there'd been 5 reports in this area. Now, when you leave from state to state, they don't follow you. So that sometimes we will have families. The one little boy I was talking about the medical neglect, they were in Tennessee, and they moved to the state I was in, and they had tons of them in Tennessee. Well, we did, as a school, we did some digging and found that out. But they have to really, social services starts with their clean slate. We have a report, we have an intake, it's substantiated, and they don't go back and look really unless you have questions. Well, I had questions. I called the previous school. The previous school said yes. And then they told me who to call, and I called and I investigated. Did every school do that? No. But in my school, it was small enough and I had the time that I could do that and check on the situation so that I knew right away when I called the first time or when someone called the first time, we could say this happened and they moved from Tennessee to get away from this because they were going to lose their child in Tennessee. And so we were on it really quickly once we realized that. But, it's like they start over. They get a do-over when they move from state to state. That doesn't always follow them. So,
But if you have a diligent school.
yeah, but that doesn't always happen.
I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah. My school was small. So I was able to do that. And I knew every kid in every classroom, and especially new students. It was very, very easy. And when you have one that had some issues and medical things, then you
Right.
wanted to get on top of it. And
Yeah.
not every school does that.
This is exactly. So Kendall, like the motor oil, that's a good name.
Yeah.
So just because there are 5 cases, that doesn't mean there were only 5 calls. There could be several calls without any cases opened, right?
Right. The intake worker decides whether or not it needs to be expedited to a social worker. Then once it's given off to the social worker, the social worker can read over it and they can choose at that point whether they're going to make the decision to investigate or not. And they will accept it, and then they'll kind of prioritize it. Is it imminent danger? We need to go right now. Like I said, sometimes we would have people out there that day. I can think of one circumstance where we called and they were there within 2 hours. They were there, and it was because it was a very serious claim. And there were lots of instances where we had meetings at school with the parents. We discussed strategies on how to better discipline or how to better do this or that. There's just a whole host of things that they've got in their toolbox that they can suggest or require. If court gets involved or if the police get involved, they may be mandated to do those things based on the findings. But yes, you could have multiple calls and them not feel warranted or take the calls, because a lot of times you'll have people that call anonymously, and if they don't identify who they are, you can also bet that sometimes you're going to get some fake claims or false calls.
Sure.
And people just, I'm going to turn in my neighbor for, blah, 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 and, they call and they and that wastes everybody's time. That wastes the intake worker's time, the social worker's time. And it's very scary for the family when that happens.
And Women's Warrior, I agree. That happens a lot. That's why they move. US needs a national system link, and LA needs to be on that system too. And actually, Zoots and Boots was also saying the same thing. There needs to be federal oversight, and hopefully maybe this new administration will make that a priority.
Right.
Yeah, because I mean, what do you think the odds are that there's another CPS report or more back in California that Steph doesn't know about?
Yeah,
I would think likely. I mean, because and it's not about it's not just looking into the past to just to kind of like smear people, but there's a pattern that really makes a lot of sense for it being the motive for why Sebastian's not there. It seems, one of the questions that happened in that elevated truth, one of the panelists asked, were you ordered to not be around Sebastian? And the way Seth or Chris repeated that question back, he was he repeated it in such a way that he was playing. You could actually tell he was playing that semantics game. No, I was not ordered to not be around Sebastian. Yes, well, okay, or the home. Am I getting it wrong?
Yeah,
that you couldn't be home, but what was he ordered to be around Sebastian? I think I might have gotten that backward. But regardless,
everybody listened to it, so
yeah,
I'm sure
he answered back in like a word for word way, and we know how he does the semantics game. I think it's very likely that he, not being home since February, he was ordered to not being there, right, or not being around Sebastian, and you know, with 5 CPS reports, if there were one, you kind of can go, that's a one-off. But when a pattern develops, you realize that there's some kind of problem
Absolutely.
in the home. It's like I think like if you had a friend that got a DUI, you think, okay, well he made a dumb decision, stupid mistake, whatever. Hope he learned from it. You have a friend that has 5 DUIs. That's a pattern of life,
Right.
and there's a very high likelihood that those are not the only 5 times that person ever drove drunk. There's probably 1,000 times they didn't get pulled over.
Right.
Just caught 5 times.
Yeah. And similar with the CPS report, whatever kind of abuse was being observed, it's probably not just those 5 times that this happened. It's just those 5 times that it caught enough attention from somebody at school or whoever that they called it in. So it was very likely much worse than even what the CPS reports will say.
Mm-hmm.
Should those ever come to light.
Can I jump in real quick? Detroit Rock City says, my father-in-law worked for CPS here in Ann Arbor and California over 30 years. He said it was hard to give the kids back to bad people. He said it took years off his life. I've heard many said that.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm sure. And Detroit Rock City, it's nice to see you. I wanted to say
Absolutely.
that. And we've got a few things also going in here, coming in. We got a couple of super stickers, so I think people want to hear the super sticker song, obviously.
Well,
I saw a super chat.
Isn't it when there's a sticker? No, that's the sticker.
Oh, well, there's 2 super chats at the top.
Those are stickers
Oh, okay.
because I can see them dancing on the screen.
Oh, okay. I can't. I'm not looking at that screen. I'm looking at the StreamYard.
So Jackie Brown. Oh wait, did you put it up? Jackie
No, I
Brown.
didn't. One of them
Let's start.
disappeared.
Yeah, it's a super sticker. Jackie Brown. It's a flag dancing. See, they can see it. We
Thank
just
you,
can't because of
Jackie.
StreamYard. Thank you so much, Jackie. That's awesome. And then Kansas City Chiefs style.
Chiefs for lifestyle.
Oh, Chiefs for Lifestyle sent one that is a thumbs up. Well, thank you so much.
Congratulations on your team.
And then you know what else I missed earlier is we had some people join membership. And then we already said Coco Honey. Okay, keep up the chatter. Came back. Welcome back. Thank you. Keep up the chatter. Great mod too. Thank you. Karen S became a new member. Hey Jude renewed her membership. 2 Cowgirl Up 38. I think you were already a member. Got their membership, and then Autumn Light 7109 BTW became a new member. So thank you guys so much. That's very kind of you. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
I think it's about time to wrap it up. I'm
Well,
sure.
I was going to say, too, one thing Alicia had said about what I had mentioned. She said, I take reports as people call into CPS, not necessarily cases that were open, but it's impossible to know because CPS stuff is not ever public info. It can be subpoenaed and the police can get that information from CPS. And as a few people have mentioned, some states do require you to say who you are if you call in. They don't let you call anonymously, but some states you can call anonymously. Where I lived, you could call anonymously. But I think school reporting also, they do take it a little more seriously than the ones that won't give their name.
Let's see. And also, I lost it. Oh, Shelly was asking, Aunt E, is it not protocol to notify the non-custodial parent?
That part I don't know. That's part that I really don't know for sure, that because that would be a CPS protocol situation, and it wasn't. The school can possibly choose to do that. Usually they don't, the CPS would need to go into the home and investigate everything. I would think that they would call them and say, we've had this complaint. Have you had any problems with your child saying this when he's at the other home? Or her saying this, or do the 2 boys fight when they're with you, type of thing, whatever the complaint was. And usually if they're doing a thorough investigation, that will involve the other parent if that parent is near. But say the parent's in Michigan and they live in Tennessee, they may not even contact that parent because it's not relevant. They only see that parent twice a year or something. So it depends.
And then Julie's mystery, I really appreciate your take on the situation.
Thank you, Julie. We appreciate you too.
And then guess what? We got another. This is a super chat, so maybe I should have them vote which song they want. Crime Cafe, new set from Brittany J. Instantly love your respectful commentary. It's refreshing. Sending prayers to your family for healing and health. Thank you so much. That's very kind.
Thank you very much, Crime Cafe. I like the name too. So, and we appreciate that.
And Stacy Michelle's been a member for 2 months. It says, always in my heart, Sebastian, love you. That is so, that's a nice thing to say. Thank you for being a member too. For 2 months. We appreciate you. Oh, and Eve's jumping in here. Eve Loves God says, I've seen both ways, but some people that shouldn't get their kids back get them easily. It seems some caseworkers are scared of the parents.
Well,
thank you, Eve.
It's a thankless job. That we had a huge turnover. It was very hard to keep the same caseworker when you had children that did get a lot of reports, and that worker was involved and came to the school often. You rarely would see, even for 6 months or a year, the same caseworker. The turnover was great because it's a scary job, having to go out to homes and not knowing what you're going to run into when you get there.
And I don't know if anybody else is singing this in their head. Okay, so I'm gonna, because they deserve it, I'm gonna play super chat and super sticker and the membership song. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Here comes your music. Let's see. I will start with the.
Thank you for your super sticker. 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 Thank you for your super sticker.
We're just dancing like
That's
crazy
good.
back here. And then let's see. I will do this one next.
Welcome to the dog town. Your crime dog now. Members only. Welcome to the dog town. Your crime dog now. Members only. Welcome to the pound. Members only. Bow wow 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 wow. Doo doo doo. Doo doo.
I had to cut it off.
Members only is my favorite part.
You can tell they're AI, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right. There's one that sounds like Michael Bublé, but it was just too mellow. So, all right. So this is for the super chats.
Thank you for the super chat. 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 Thank you for the super chat.
And I've got one more thing just because I love you guys.
She also said she was going to bring a machete.
karate,
Machete.
karate,
Machete.
karate,
Machete.
karate.
You can't go out on a higher note than the machete.
Well, it was funny because somebody said earlier he looks like he has a mulete.
That's funny. It's hard to find things that rhyme with machete.
Okay, I wanted to just say something before we went. Castle said
Sure.
she worked for CPS, and she said we would always go to the school and obtain the emergency card and track down the other parent. If it's summertime, we would go to the home. Not sure how they got around that with Seth. But most of the time, if they're around in the general vicinity, a lot of times they will talk to them. But like I said, if they're another state, sometimes they might not.
I would say it varies from school to school as far as protocol is.
Well,
no, she works for CPS though, right?
Yeah, it's state to state, really.
Yeah.
And county to county.
Also, Gypsy, Hope in the Shadows, Gypsy Nielsen became a member. I think she probably renewed. I believe she was already a member. And thank you so much, Gypsy. We appreciate you. Such a good person. She's a very, very kind person.
Yes, Gypsy's great.
What was I going to say? I thought I had something in my mind. Oh, to the person that sent us the Cash App, I'm not going to say your name because it would dox you, but thank you. You know who you are, and we appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you to everybody. I mean, there's been all kinds of
it's
just amazing stuff from everybody.
I got a letter from Real Me Too, and it's beautiful.
Yes.
But anyway, and not to mention Dreaming of Blue Skies and Sandy Beaches every day. Just wonderful, and sending gifts. You know how I get weird about that stuff, but
about what?
I just hate for people to send us gifts.
Oh yeah.
But it's very kind, and it actually does lift your spirits, even though you say, "Oh, I don't want anything." It does lift your spirits. He always gets mad at me. He was like, "Look, people want to. This is how people are giving you a hug. People that are far away from you are trying to give you a hug. So you just need to accept it and be appreciative."
It's like, family or whatever, stuff like that. Everybody wants to send you food, casseroles, and cookies.
Well,
and
we had
6
boxes of crumble cookies.
It was crazy. Crazy
6
amount
boxes.
of cookies. Couldn't possibly eat all those cookies.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, so that's how people, they just
Yes.
don't know what else to do and they want to do. But it was
and our mods and everybody's just been wonderful, and we just want to thank you guys so much from the bottom of our heart. We do appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And I didn't get to this with Aunt E, but she couldn't have been a better big sister, and I really appreciate her too. And I'm gonna cry, so I'm gonna stop.
Okay. Well, I would do go anywhere to help you guys, and it was great to be there at Christmas time and help you make everything perfect for Christmas.
I didn't want you to leave. I cried. I stood in the driveway and didn't want her to leave. I was like,
I know,
because she was taking my mom too, so that made it worse.
Yeah.
But as soon as they got here, I had a sense of relief because I was shaking, for days, just uncontrollably. I couldn't make it stop. Couldn't text anybody, and as soon as they got here, I just had this wave of I don't know,
calmness.
Yeah.
So,
well, we did everything we could to fix everything and make it perfect.
Oh,
it was okay.
And if you need your Christmas taken care of in the future, I would reach out to Aunt E because she is the best.
It was like
it was crazy.
It was so helpful, that part of it too. It was man, that should just be your new side hustle.
Yes,
just Christmas shopping for people.
Well, you do like the shop.
You just make a little commission on whatever you buy or something, and because you knocked it out of the park. I don't know if we had any returns. Everybody liked the stuff.
Oh, good.
You did great. So it was a huge, and of course, just being our hero was a huge help.
Yes. Anyway,
I liked all the food that was brought in. It was I
know.
never had to worry about food every night.
That ham.
People
I still think about that ham.
Amazing. Yes.
Yeah.
The ham.
Mom's still talking about the ham.
The ham was good. We couldn't keep Mom away from that ham. So. Anyway,
the real me.
She's asleep anyway. Don't worry.
I asked first.
What?
The real me too said, "Can I hire Aunt E?" I asked first.
I'm not kidding. It should almost be like DoorDash, but Christmas shopping or something. Like you can.
Oh wow, that's a really good idea.
Here's my list.
Yeah, that would be awesome for birthdays, and you could do birthdays and holidays.
What I've always wanted is I really do want to send birthday cards and stuff, but as you know, I'm terrible at it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll miss the birthday. I'll send it 3 days late. I may not send it at all. I may have it. I have one still, Aunt E, addressed to our dad for Father's Day.
Oh, I have one too.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, our dad's passed. So I see that. And
Yeah. It's hard to remember.
okay, stop.
I know. Why are you going down?
I don't know. I don't know what's wrong
No
with
reason
me.
to do that.
I'm just a mess tonight. Okay.
Well,
But anyway, I thought there should be a service that you could provide, like sit down and provide your message for the person, and they'll mail, they mail it for you, or do the Facebook ones where they wish happy birthday for you. But anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm going down a whole new path. But anyway, we should wrap it up because it's late and I know K-Mac has to work tomorrow.
So thank you so much, everybody, for being here. We our plan if you joined us a little late, our plan in the future is we're going to try to go once a week. Maybe Sunday night might be the night we stay on, but probably just the weekends, just with stuff we've got going on. But our goal is going to be a once a week for the foreseeable future, and then we'll see how things go from there. But thank you so much for coming in and joining us, and thank you to all the mods and
Look
everybody.
who popped in.
We do appreciate it.
Who snuck in?
Oh, hello.
Oh, hey, Josh.
This is another one that's been checking on us.
Yeah.
He's a sweet person.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Josh reached out a few times, and we appreciate it. I mean, you guys have all been amazing. So, and Josh, Josh was.
The other night, Mob Crew also was telling us he was praying for us as well.
Yeah,
so.
that's
It's an amazing group of people that we've gotten mixed up with.
It really is. I mean, it really is one of those things where it kind of made me look at the true crime community actually a little bit differently, just because there's just this handful of kind of really bad actors that get all the attention and noise, but the vast majority of people that are interested in Sebastian's story, the thousands of them, are great, wonderful people that that are here, whatever their theories are really here for the right reasons.
Yeah,
and
we don't have to agree with people to be friendly with them.
It's just I mean, it's the good far outweigh the bad.
Oh, for sure.
And I agree with Suits and Boots here. There needs to be unity.
Yeah.
That's the message of our country. Well, that's the message of our country. We need to practice it everywhere we can. So,
Yeah.
and
if we disagree, hopefully we can do these things in respectful ways.
Yeah.
And have civil disagreements and debates and stuff, and not attacks, not personal. Hopefully, we can strive for that.
Well, everybody keeps saying we missed you guys. Well, we missed you guys too. Yeah. And oh my goodness,
Navy Mom, wow.
Navy Mom.
Navy Mom coming in at the last minute there with the 20 memberships. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh.
Navy Mom.
Thank you so much. That is so kind of you.
That is awesome of you. We appreciate it.
And if you got a membership from Navy Mom, thank you so much. I don't have you gifted a membership song. I'll have to work on that.
AI to work on that tomorrow.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing. Thank you so much. That's so kind of you.
But yeah, thank you very much, Navy Mom. We appreciate that. And if you received that membership, make sure you thank Navy Mom for that.
You know what? I'm going to give Navy Mom.
I got it. I was gifted a membership.
Oh, my stars. What a waste.
Hey,
you don't deserve
I was just
one.
telling you, I won one before, and then
you did.
And then it expired, and it wanted me to renew, and I'm like, oh man, and
you don't need to renew. Well, thank you, Navy Mom.
Thank you, Navy Mom.
And this one's for you.
She also said she was going to bring a machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
All right. Thank you so much,
Mercy.
Navy Mom. We appreciate
Thank you.
That was very kind.
Yes, thank
We
you.
appreciate
So
you. I think we're going to wrap it up this time. We're the worst. This is how we get off the phone too. So
I know it takes us like an hour to get off the phone.
No, you hang up. I'll hang up. You hang up.
all
Do
right.
that kind
Well,
of
we're
thing.
all going to hang up now. And thank you guys again. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your love. We appreciate you all.
Thank you guys.
Thank
we'll see you,
you.
I think, next Sunday. That'll be our goal.
Now I've got to find the outro video. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Whoops.
We should have had a rehearsal before.
I know. We're just
No.
not. We're
We're
out of shape.
Yep.
All right. Here we go.
We remember you. We remember you. Ooh. We're still here for you. shine a light for you. We're holding on a hope for you. We remember you. We remember you. Ooh. We're still here for you. We'll shine on